William Murder in the beat. William Murder in the beat.
Another one, y'all. DBN Radio. We in the building. It's about to go down like a plane crash, as it always does, right here on Dante's Boxing Nation Radio. What's going on, everybody in the comment section? Starting to fill it up. What's going on, Jeffrey Guy? My man said new media takeover. That's right. My man Edwin Velez. Dante, what's good? Dante's the truth. You already know what it is. It's the nation, says Jeffrey. All day. We have a great show for you guys tonight. Whole lot to talk about. Whole lot to talk about. My man co-host in the building, Milt. What it do, Milt?
You know it's all good, baby. What's good?
All right. We haven't started the show yet, guys. We have some special guests on tonight's show. We're going to go ahead and introduce them when we actually start up the show. What's up to my girl, L Flowers, in the comment section? She said, Dante. That's what it is, Mrs. Flowers.
Oh, Reginald Owens. We got some local homegrown. Look at that, man.
My man, is that Reggie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. My man Reggie said tuning in with y'all from Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
That's what it is, man. Out here chilling with us. Once again, guys, there will be like a quick little minute pause, and then we're going to get the show started. I just wanted to give shouts out, as I always do. My man J Dog, what's going on, CSM? He said we working now. That's what it is, y'all. Yeah, we have some real special guests, guys. You know, if y'all used to the Charlo brothers, wait until you see who I'm about to introduce. Y'all about to see the future. It's going down, y'all. Right here.
From GA.
Yeah, rep your city, man. Rep your city.
That's
rep your
right.
state. Rep your country. We had them in here from all over the place, Milt. So South Africa, Peru. Man, they was calling in from everywhere, man.
Everywhere.
Yeah, that homeboy.
My man from Scotland. Yeah, he be calling in all the time. Yeah.
My homeboy called in from Ukraine. You know, so that's what it is. Fort Mitchell, Alabama.
Was good.
What's going on? That's my man Money. We can't forget Alabama. Hopefully, Money, he gonna take me out, so I can get some of that Alabama barbecue out there.
It's all good.
Montgomery, yeah.
That's Slim King.
Man, Slim King, he said repping that Montgomery, Alabama. Toledo, Ohio up in here. Says Ray Morrison Jr.
Edwin Velez repping Puerto Rico.
That's what it is.
That's right.
Ed Valencia repping California, Fremont. Okay.
Shout out to the Baricuas out there, man.
Yeah, man.
Tuscaloosa. Who was that? Jermaine Davis out of Tuscaloosa repping hard.
Yeah, my man Jeffrey said, can we get 78 Sports TV on? Yeah, we'll get 78 on here. We'll go ahead and get them on. So anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and start up the show. It's about to go down, y'all. Jeffrey Guy, Funky Town, Texas. Funky Town. All right, y'all. Let's get it in.
Nation. And let me tell you something right now. If you guys are looking for the best fragrance products in the world, you need to go to ashkickin.com. That is ashkickin.com. Keep your home smelling fresh and clean with Ash Kickin fragrance products. Treat your skin and hair with Ash Kickin all-natural health and beauty products. Everything you need to create a comfortable home living environment and create a comfortable space for entertaining. The best incense burners in the world, home fragrance products, and health and beauty products, go to ashkickin.com.
Brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey, yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav. And if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey, yo better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
Another one, y'all. What's going on? Welcome to the Dante's Boxing Nation radio show. We getting it in over here.
Yeah.
Dante, I am your host. Let me go ahead and introduce the co-host in the building. As always, my man Milt. Big Milt, what's going on, Milt?
That's good, Dante.
All right. Let me go ahead and introduce my panel. I don't even know if he's on the line yet. I didn't check, but we're going to go ahead and find out right now. Okay, somebody has a whole lot of noise going on in the background right now. So I just want to let you guys know. But let me go ahead and introduce. Hold on one second. Let me get some of these phone lines on mute right now. There's a lot going on. Before we introduce them, we got to go ahead and make sure all that background noise is removed.
Yeah.
Let me see, where's that coming from? Let's see here. Yeah, I think it's coming from right here. Let me see. Yeah, it's coming from there. Okay. Hey, Mike, I'm letting you know, I don't know what's going on, but it's a lot of noise in the background. But let me go ahead first. Let me introduce. Once again, I talked about the Charlo brothers. Well, now we got the Trio brothers. Y'all gonna be hearing a lot about these brothers, man. 3 brothers right now. Let me go and introduce them. We got the Montgomery Brothers. Matter of fact, hold on. Once again, it's a whole lot of noise. We got my man, Malik. We got Mikhail. And we got Michael Jr. Montgomery. And we got Coach Mike. Welcome to the show, guys. Can you guys hear us? All right, we're going to have to put them on mute for a second until we take care of that. So anyway.
Hey, make sure y'all turn the volume down if y'all are watching it. Y'all watching the show live.
Hold on, I'm gonna put that on. I'm gonna put them on mute for a second.
Okay.
So guys, once again, we're gonna talk about all these fights that just took place. One of the biggest fight this weekend, of course, was the WBO middleweight champion of the world, Billy Joe Saunders, dominates David Lemieux. What else we gonna talk about, Milt?
Hey man, we're gonna hit him with that. We're gonna hit him with the unfortunate news on Antoine Douglas. We're going to talk about I call him Jewish Hammer, the Hebrew Hammer, Mr. Cletus Selden getting a boxing lesson himself. Jesse Vargas making a comeback after 13-month layoff. He looking sharp. We're going with John Molina gets off the mat, in John Molina fashion and did his thing in the 4th round. The Jeff Horn fight, Jamal Django James. We got a lot on the table, man.
We're gonna talk about TV ratings, pay-per-view numbers. Yeah, we're gonna talk about all of that, man.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia.
Let me go ahead and introduce once again the panel. I think I have my whole panel, so I'm going to introduce them right now. So on the line, we have my man Money Powell the third, who has one of the best prospects, his son Money Powell the fourth, and hopefully we could get his thoughts real quick too later on. What's going on, Money? Money, you there?
I don't know. We might have lost him.
Okay, we might have. Let me see. Let me make sure. Money. Okay. Kirk, are you there? Can you hear me? Oh, you know what?
I hear you.
My bad.
Okay. Yeah.
That was me. So one more time, Money, you there?
Hey, I'm here, guys. What's happening?
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
And my man.
Okay.
And my man Kirk Jackson, he's a former fighter. He's also a contributor on BoxingInsider.com. Great boxing writer. My man Kirk Jackson, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Okay, now we hear.
All good. Kirk,
now we can hear you. Yeah, let me try to. I got my special guest on mute right now because I don't know what's going on, but let me try to see if they got that fixed. So let me check. Hold on. Yeah, you hear? Yeah. Okay. Mike, Coach Mike, you there? Okay, we'll try to get them. Maybe we can shoot them a text and let them know. Hey, Money. I don't know if you have some time. Oh yeah, see that's their background. Yep. I gotta mute that out.
I'm trying to work on that right now.
Okay, yeah, send them a text if you can. So anyway, guys, yeah, we'll get that situated and organized. But let's go ahead and talk about these fights, man. Let's talk about these fights, Milt. So this weekend once again, and let me start off with what Danny Jacobs, what he had to say, his reaction and everything. I want to go ahead and play the clip.
Yeah.
So once again, Billy Joe Saunders, he dominates David Lemieux, and you know, a lot of people, they expected him to do it. But let me play this clip real quick and let you guys see exactly what my man Danny Jacobs had to say about it. If I can find this clip over here. Here it is right here. Check this out, guys. All right, Milt. So you heard what your boy Danny had to say. What did you think about the performance, and what did you think about what Danny just said? He said he'd been calling the boy out. That's not a good sign, because if he's been calling him out and we ain't heard Billy say anything, didn't mention his name. He actually only mentioned Golovkin's name. But your whole thought on the whole situation, Big Man.
Hey, Danny kind of alluded to it. He gave him props. It was a boxing clinic. I mean, I'm the only thing I'm a little upset about is I want to figure out how those judges figured out how to give a round to David Lemieux.
Yeah,
that dude was shut out. I mean, completely shut out. He looked like an amateur. Well, he looked like a club level fighter.
Yeah,
he didn't. He had nothing. Hey, listen up, y'all. If you're out there boxing and you're gonna be a pressure fighter, learn to cut off the ring. If you don't have footwork, you can't, press someone into a corner and meet them at a spot. You're not a pressure fighter. You're gonna look silly out there against somebody who can box and move, and that is exactly what happened last night. I mean, Lemieux had nothing. And if you can't adjust by the 4th or 5th round after you see a guy doing something and you can't make any adjustments, you don't have the tools in your tool bag, I mean, hey, man, maybe this thing ain't for you. Or you just need to match yourself up with fighters who going to stand toe-to-toe with you. But that's not what Billy Joe Saunders came to do. He talks like that's what he's going to come and do. But, I mean, he did his thing, no doubt.
And it's crazy when you think about it, right, Big Mill? And money. I mean, how is that possible that David Lemieux, he has so many fights, and he had, like Milt just said, he still hasn't figured out to cut off the ring yet. I mean, he wasn't using any type of feints to kind of get in.
Nope.
Everything was telegraphed, right? I mean, your thoughts on the fight, Money? Oh, you know what? Go ahead, Money. Go ahead, Money.
I said, oh my goodness, and some of them looked like they were third-class male. I mean, it was very unfortunate. You would have thought that after the Triple G fight that, okay, they would go back in and make some adjustments here and there, but he must be allergic to boxers just in general. He has to be, because he was breaking out everywhere yes, I mean,
he got the mumps. Face looked like
he was completely out of his element. Yeah. I mean, he did. He looked like an amateur, just like Dante said. I mean, I figured, and this is just my personal opinion, I figured if he can, because Billy Joe does drop his right hand a lot, and I figured, okay, at some point, but early on in the fight, that he would land that shot on Billy Joe and we could have something different. But I did say if Billy Joe could box, and Blue Blood, along with a few other guys when we were talking yesterday, said, hey, look, if you can maintain that, easy win. And sure enough, I just don't understand what those judges were looking at. It was 12-0, period, right down the line.
Right down the line.
Yeah, they had to really be feeling sorry for David Lemieux or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah, home country. I guess they didn't want to see him go out.
Kind of what I kind of anticipated.
David Lemieux.
Go ahead, Kurt. I'm sorry. Yeah, what you got, Kurt?
Well, I was going to say David Lemieux has world-class punching power, but he has third world everything else.
Third world, boy, oh boy. Yeah, man.
That's the way to put it. Whoa.
Oh man, he coming out of Bangladesh.
And what's crazy, what you saying there, Kurt, is a lot of people say that was Golovkin's best win. They say that was, his best win against this guy right here, David Lemieux. So, and on top of that, Golovkin went in there, and he was supposed to be big drama Mexican style. He decided to box this guy. So
right.
Yeah, it says a lot.
I won't say that he did the exact same thing that that BJ Saunders did. I mean, he brutalized him to the body.
He controlled him with the jab.
He controlled him with the jab.
His main weapon in the fight was the jab, though.
He was coming forward, whereas Billy Joe Saunders was kind of on the back foot.
Well, they were more in the center of the ring, weren't they? I thought they were more in the center of the ring.
But he would press Lemieux up to the ropes and bang him. And Lemieux had to keep moving.
Yeah,
and he brutalized him.
Well, he knocked him out, so of course his win was a little bit more impressive. But I'm just saying. I mean, he didn't fight him like he fought. Mark Rubio, Willie Monroe, Wade, these type of fighters right here.
He had zero respect for their power.
Yeah, man. He had respect for Lemieux.
Yeah, he did.
And all I'm saying is, you would think a guy that easy to hit, even with the power, he would have went in there and just knocked him out the way he did Wade. But it is what it is. I mean, congratulations to Billy Joe Saunders at the end of the day. Because he ended up, like I said, despite getting a knockout, he looked just as impressive as Golovkin did against the same opponent, I believe.
One thing I want to say, a lot of people may think that I'm hating on Billy Joe Saunders. That was a boxing. He boxed beautifully. And the thing is, I hadn't seen him fight that well since he beat Andy Lee. He beat Andy Lee. He scored a knockdown on Andy Lee. And he boxed beautifully against Andy Lee. And ever since then, he has looked like complete trash. He didn't even look really that good. He didn't look that good against Willie Monroe Jr. And Willie Monroe was just posing, standing right there in the pocket, wouldn't pull the trigger. And the fight before that, I forget which fight it was before that. It was a subpar performance. He has not looked this good, and I did not expect him to go in there and box. But I guess that he came in there with the right game plan. So my hat goes off, and if I can't do anything but give the man credit.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, now
What's say, Kirk?
Because I've spoken to a few of them across the internet, and they're sitting here saying that, oh, Billy Joe Saunders, he'll take out Canelo easily. He'll take out the Charlo.
Time out. Hey, time out.
That hope juice, boy. That hope juice.
Yeah, man. Time out on that.
But see, I was about to just ask you the question, though, Kirk. I mean, how do you see him doing against Golovkin now, though, after that performance?
After that performance, I see it being a good fight because BJ Saunders got some genuine boxing ability, and he works off the jab. He stay angles, and he doesn't get caught up in trading off of how the fans want him to fight.
Who is this we're talking to right now?
This Malik.
Oh, we finally got you on now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Malik Montgomery. Let me go ahead. Are all three of you guys on the line right now, or just you, or what?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I had you here. Let me try to unmute him. Let me hold on for a second. See if that line is. Yeah, you guys hear that noise? That's something going on right there. Hey, Coach Mike, you there? Okay, I gotta put that back on mute. Okay, all right. Well, we'll just go ahead and start with you right now, Malik. Like I was telling everybody, let me introduce the future and the now because they just turned pro. Y'all already know about the Charlo brothers. Now we have the Montgomery Brothers. And they're a trio. I like to compare because I obviously I know you guys want that type of sibling success. So Malik, first thing first, I want to say congratulations on your last win. All three of you guys got to win on the same night, right? Talk about that, Malik.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Talk about the wins that you guys all got knockouts, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a great win as far as stepping up our competition, and then being that the fight that we had was down here in our state and in our city. It felt real good, especially for all of us to go out and get TKOs. I mean, it was a once in a lifetime experience to get on the fight in the same car as my brothers.
That's awesome.
And Milt, has that ever been done before? I don't know if we've ever had three. No, I'm saying three brothers all winning titles at the same time, or you know, around the same time. Has that ever been done before?
Not to my knowledge.
Not at least not Americans.
No.
What have you? Do you know anything about that, Malik? If that's been done before?
Actually, no, I don't think it has been done. And like you said, with the Klitschko brothers, I think they are the only ones, you know, to actually, I think, to be maintain champion status and hold on to them belts at that weight class together and rule the weight class together. I think those are the only ones. But I mean, you got 3 right now that's gonna do that.
You got 3 right now. Y'all hearing it from Malik Montgomery and his brothers, which we'll probably get online as well. But he has Mikhail and Michael Jr. Once again, they all scored knockouts fighting on the same card. Let everybody know what division you fight at and your brothers as well, Malik.
I fight at 130 in the 130 division. My younger brother fights at 122, and my older brother fights at 147.
Okay. And do all you guys have that aggressive style that I put on my channel? As a matter of fact, you guys can check out some of the highlights of Malik on my channel. Really, really aggressive fighter, comes forward. You know, so some of y'all decaps who claim y'all like that, you know, quote unquote Mexican style,
right?
And I'm not even going to, you know, compare my man Malik's style to Mexican style because, you know, he got skills, you know. So, but anyway, if you could go ahead and just explain or describe the type of style that all you guys have, Malik.
All of us is really a mix. I'm the most aggressive out of all of us, but when it comes to how we've been trained by our father, and how he trains us, you know, to come forward, working off our jab and throw multiple combinations and be pressure fighters, you really, I mean, it depends on what you like. And, you know, and my older brother, he brings the power.
Okay, your older brother. Okay, so let me see if are they on their own phone right now, or are you guys all together right now, or what?
Yeah, we all together.
Okay. So yeah, so you guys your brothers could jump on the horn. I see there's 2 478 numbers over here right now. Here, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, my dad's on the other line.
Okay, so he called back in then. He called Coach Mike. Coach Mike, you there? Coach Mike, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I could barely hear you, Coach Mike. That's senior right there, Mike Montgomery right there.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you a little bit more. A little better now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So Coach Mike, if you could go ahead and just talk about their journey, how long they've been boxing, accomplishments in the amateurs, and all of that, Coach.
Oh man, we got that much time tonight?
Oh man, go ahead. You could get it in.
They've been boxing about 9 years now. Actually 10 now. If you count, you know, pro, amateur. Basically, they accomplish multi-nationals, regionals, state. You know, it just comes down to where, you know, you have to deal with the politics of boxing. So we've had to deal with that, and coming from where we coming from, we pretty much been doing it with the help of friends of ours. One of them being one of the guys on the phone, and Money Powell.
Mm-hmm.
He helped us a lot of the way. Randy, I'm not Randy, but God, I forget his name, Kerry Foster. Kerry Foster, Michael Evans. You know, between those 3 guys, they pretty much helped us, you know, get to the nationals when we could make it to the nationals.
Okay.
You know, as far as financial wise, you know, we owe a great deal of gratitude to all 3 of those guys. A lot of guys helped along the way too. Yusef Sabaz, Michael Knowles, and basically, you know, it's one of those things to where I guess I've had a lot of pride, and I didn't reach out to a lot of other people. You know, those guys more or less reached out to us, you know, and helped us along the way. And it was really towards the latter part of their amateur career.
Okay.
You know, so it's like when you getting into this, it's really just, you know, getting off the ground, because it's a lot of guys that had sponsors and stuff like that. And although we didn't have the sponsors, we beat those guys.
So it was one of those things to where.
So you guys been in there with a lot of big names too, then, obviously, right?
Right. I mean, they kind of want us to go away.
They want
because I said they kind of want us to go away because we're like that. My boys are like that triple threat. All of them fight multi-weight divisions. Malik can go up 2, down 2. Michael can go up 2, down 2. Mikhail can go up 2, down 2. So, it's one of those things, as a coach, I don't blame them. They always try to watch to see what weight we're going to be.
So y'all flanking everybody right now, huh? Yeah, I see.
Right,
y'all could come from any direction and basically get any of these big names out there. I mean, it? Hey, Coach Mike, and I'm not throwing too much out too early. Obviously, we know, it's going to take a minute for them to start, fighting these type of cats. But when you look at the competition, when you look at the champions near your kids' divisions and everything, do you just envision? Do you say, man, that opponent would be perfect? If my son, if it was just the right time and right place, et cetera, et cetera. Are there any fighters like that you look at, you target when it comes to your sons?
I look at it like this, and most people that know me know I'm kind of subtle, and at the same time, I'm kind of bold. And since my sons were little babies, I was like, you can put them in there with the best pros right now, in their divisions, even 2 divisions up, 2 divisions down. So it's one of those things to where a lot of these guys, when they give us the opportunity to spar with these guys that are supposed to be what they quote unquote the best coming or the best there, we usually drag them. So it's one of those things to where people kind of look at it to where, man, these boys ain't really coming from a training camp. They come down here and they just went through fighters that was 9-0, 10-0, 15-0, and that was back when they didn't have no fights. So it's one of those things to where, you understand the politics of this. And it's to where a lot of my friends are like, hey, man, don't do it. Don't even go there. Don't do it. Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is those are going to be guys that end up blackballing you. They're not going to let you fight them guys because they know them guys got a lot to lose,
Yeah.
Hey, so, Coach Mike, I just got a question for you. This Big Milt, Georgia boy, myself, down around Albany. So, I know there's a lot of great young athletes out there that are just waiting to get started, man. But around, Bibb County and up and around that area, man, how is the boxing scene around there? How do people get into it, or how did y'all find your way into it?
Well, actually, I was a pro. I was 7-0 with 7 knockouts, no losses. And couldn't find no fights, basically.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's football country. And I know a lot of people gravitate toward football, basketball. But, how did you get into boxing yourself? And then how do you get the fights down around that area?
Well, actually, I'm from New York. I was born and raised in New York. But I've been here, for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like basically in making where we're at, it's one of those things where boxing is kind of dying, and it comes down to we don't get a lot of support from the people in making. You know what I'm saying? Everybody I just described to you, none of them stay in making, and that's the sad thing about it.
Okay.
And let me go ahead because we haven't heard from Mikhail and Michael Jr. If you guys could just go ahead and introduce yourself and let them know what division you guys are fighting in right now.
Okay. My name is Mikhail Montgomery. I'm fighting 122.
Your record, you guys are 100% right now. Well, they are three brothers, 100% KO ratio right now.
Yes, sir. My record is 1-0. I got second round TKO.
Congratulations.
First fight, that was a good experience. That was fun.
When you guys planning on? Matter of fact, go ahead and your brother, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Mike Montgomery, also known as 6B. I fight at 147 pounds.
Welterweight.
My record now stands at 2-0, 2 knockouts.
Okay. And when do you guys plan on getting back in the ring?
Hopefully we get a fight in January. I want to fight like as soon as possible. So hopefully like mid-January, early January. We're looking forward to going down in.
And how's that transition? How's the transition been? I'm going from amateur to pro, no headgear, to smaller gloves. You feel more comfortable or what?
I feel a lot comfortable with it. With those smaller gloves, I feel like there's an advantage, especially with the styles that my father have us fighting. I know especially for Malik and my older brother, they're really gonna love it because they're more the power punchers.
Okay, nice. So let's go ahead and talk about some boxing real quick since we just had a whole lot of fights this weekend. But let's talk about the middleweight division. I just want to get all your guys' thoughts on these fights and who you guys see as possibly being the best at middleweight right now. And I mean, so BJ Saunders, he just dominated David Lemieux. You got Danny Jacobs. You got Demetrius Andrade. You got Derevyanchenko. You got Charlo. Who you guys? Canelo. Of course, Golovkin. You know, so who do you guys see as the last man standing, basically? Anybody can start that one off with the Montgomery team. You said
Canelo.
Oh, you said you'll jump up and fight Canelo? Is that what you said?
I said Triple G is my guy.
Oh, Triple G. I was about to say Triple G. Okay, so you believe Triple G be the last man standing? Interesting. And who's saying that? Is that Michael? Is that Macau?
Yeah, this is Michael. This is the daddy.
Okay. So Michael Senior. So Senior, you said that, right? You think Golovkin gonna be the last man standing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get everybody's pick. What's that now?
I feel like Canelo's gonna be that guy on the top of the middleweight division.
Interesting. Very interesting. And was that Macau or was that Michael Jr.? Or Malik?
Macau.
Okay, Malik. What you got, Malik?
Believe it or not, I'm going. You know, I'm kind of going lower in the weight classes. I'm going with Terrence Crawford, and that's just for the fact that he's so talented already. And with him moving up to 47, I think he gotta take it slow. He can't just be jumping in with them top 147 guys. But to me, he has the most room to get even better and add to the vast arsenal that he already has. He has ring IQ for it. He has the fight style for it. I think he's gonna be the top dog.
Oh, so you're talking about pound for pound. That's what you're talking about then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying just that middleweight. Who you see as the last man standing?
I gotta go with Triple G.
Triple G.
That punching power, man, ain't no joke.
Interesting, man. I mean, me personally, I think it's gonna be. Well, I'm not gonna pick one guy, but I think it's gonna be out of Charlo, Andrade or Jacobs, man. I mean, that's what I think.
I said the same thing.
You going with the more?
I said the same thing.
I think Charlo would knock out Golovkin. I personally believe that, man.
I don't know, and this is the thing.
What?
Yeah, man. I'm stirring it up, man. I'm stirring it up.
I say this. The only way.
I don't think Charlo will get past Jacob.
I don't think so either.
You don't think Charlo will get past Jacob?
I like Andres over both of those two.
You like?
And I still think
he breaking it down. So you pick Jacobs over Charlo, and then you pick Andrade over both of them. But then you pick Golovkin over all of them, right?
That's right.
The only thing,
I like that. I support that just for the fact that I can see with Charlo matches, even the matches when either one of the brothers when they got them devastating knockouts. It's been a lot of fights that with the competition that he faced that weren't on the level as the other top guys in middleweight, and it was more so of he caught him with a good shot, but up to that point they was outboxing him to a certain extent. And I feel like, to me, Demetrius Andrade is very underlooked in that weight division, and they don't want to fight that man. But
they don't want to fight him.
I feel like with him, more so being that he's so inactive and he ain't been fighting, big world class competition. I feel like his eventually, you know, his skills, you know, it's gonna be more ring work more than anything when you step in the ring with them boys.
Okay.
But I really feel like Triple G punching power is so devastating, in the fact that he has somewhat of he's a lot smarter than a lot of people think. A lot of people think it's just him coming forward and throwing bombs, when it's a lot more to it. As far as him working off his jab, how he breaks down his opponent. Exactly. I really feel like he's gonna be on top. As long as he's boxing, he's gonna be on top of his division.
Yeah, you guys are listening to you guys are listening to the Montgomery Brothers, undefeated prospects right now. You guys gonna be hearing a lot about this trio. It's 3 of them. It's Malik, Mikhail, and Michael Jr. They got 100% knockout ratio. I can say that right now, undefeated. Let me just ask Kirk real quick. Kirk, you just heard what they just said right now. They see, or at least Malik and Mike Jr., Coach, they see Golovkin as being the last man standing. Your thoughts on what they just said, Kirk? And also, will Golovkin even fight these guys? I mean, does he have the same type of confidence that that my man Coach Mike and Malik has, Kirk?
Well, you know, very interesting comments, and I can definitely, you know, agree to an extent to what they're saying. But in regards to competition, the same argument can be made for Golovkin. Aside from his last 3 fights, he hasn't really fought top world-class opposition, so his power is a little bit exaggerated over weaker opponents. Yeah. So it's like, even the fact of fighting Charlo, his coach or his trainer, what's his name, Sanchez, when he was interviewing with them, was very adamant about Golovkin not facing Charlo because he's not worthy to face him.
Yeah, Abel said they didn't want to face them unless the WBC forced them to face him. That's what he told me directly. He told me that in an interview I did with him. But go ahead, Kirk.
Right. And so it's like, if you're not willing to face him because of those reasons, why are you willing to face guys like Kell Brook, who's a welterweight, or guys like what's his name, Dominic Wade, and you know, other guys, Will Monroe, who spent his career at a junior middleweight. I mean, the top world class opponents aren't really there on Golovkin's resume either, and him being 35, turning 36 next year. I mean, you can't. It's hard to go against these young, hungry lions who are top elite fighters and coming out on top. You see how he struggled with Danny Jacobs.
Yeah,
I can see the same thing with Charlo. Charlo's athletic. He's fast. He has power. He's still growing. I mean, I don't think Golovkin's gonna actually choose to fight any of these guys, because I think we talked to Dante last night. Him and Canelo, they can make the most money together, and public perception is that those 2 are the top guys in the division. So they're going to match up with each other more than likely, because him fighting the other guys is more of a risk than a reward type aspect. The hardcore boxing fans and people that follow the sport will recognize those matchups as great fights. But if you don't have to fight them, then why go out of your way and risk taking that L? And I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah.
And I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, I see that.
I definitely see that. But I think one of the things I want to say is, okay, we can't. I don't like to, I'm going to say it's a double standard, but with Gennady Golovkin, up until recently, when he had the fight with Danny Jacobs, no one was really running up to fight this dude.
Golovkin?
Yeah, there weren't a lot of people.
There were a couple people though.
Like who?
Adeslani Lara wanted to fight him. Andre Ward wanted to fight him. Those aren't middleweights, and then only on one person. He said he'll fight anyone from 154 to 168.
The only person
at the time,
I say that he ducked was Andre Ward. I got to say that, but Andre Ward was a much bigger guy too. But I'll put it like this though.
But you heard the Montgomery Brothers, they said they'll move up and wait to fight somebody.
I know that. But this is the thing. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, they will too.
He was denied his shot at the lineal title for about 5 years.
I just got to let somebody know it's a lot of noise in somebody's background right now. So just letting you guys know, if you guys could keep your phone on mute while Milda's talking.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, turn the volume down on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
But one thing about it, he was denied his opportunity to fight for the lineal title for about, 3 or 4 years, if not 5 years. He was denied that opportunity. And it wasn't like a lot of people running up to try to fight him. Of course, Arislan De Lara wanted to fight him, but it was going to be, I just did not like that matchup. And sometimes styles make fights. And I just did not like that matchup. And I understand why his camp didn't make that fight. But I will say this, though. I'll say this. The man is moving up around age 36 now. He done missed his opportunity, and I think Father Time is probably going to catch up with him here pretty soon. Ain't nobody going to be fighting. Everybody be talking about, hey, Floyd did it. Everybody ain't Floyd. Everybody ain't B-Hop. They're not going to be able to once you get about around age 35, the skill set starts to, I'm serious, man. It's either a gradual decline, and then sometimes it's a complete fall off the cliff. And right now, you know, Golovkin is at a crossroad. He's, hey, do I make as much money as I can right here at the tail end of my career? Or do I risk going over here and fighting fighting the other guys? And like, what's his name? Like Kirk just said, the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Well, let me say this.
You know, the risk is not worth the reward for him to go over and fight Charlo or Danny again.
If it ain't worth the risk, then he done waste his career in terms of legacy. Because
he has,
you know, in terms of him taking care of his family and financially.
This is one thing about it. He entered the stage late. A lot of these guys that are coming over from Eastern European fighters, Russian fighters, Ukrainian fighters, they're coming over here after having illustrious amateur careers, and they're entering the pro careers really late. Some of them are skipping the prospect and contender phase of what a normal career would take.
Yeah, they're trying to catch up.
They're trying to catch up.
Yeah.
But you know, unfortunately with Golovkin, he didn't have all the tools he needed, and Abel took him a little bit slower than he probably should have. But now he's at age 36. It's prize fighting. He got to fight for a prize. He need to make him some money. So I think that he probably will avoid those other people.
Yeah.
But right now, I think it's not only just Golovkin's power. Everybody talks about the power.
Oh, he has a great jab. I mean,
he cuts the ring off. Let me tell you one thing that made Julio Cesar Chavez real great is he controlled timing and distance. Chavez wasn't, he wasn't lightning fast, but he put a lot of pressure on you, and he controlled time and distance, and he could catch you with those shots when he wanted to on the inside. And that's where Golovkin was.
And we're going to take a call in a minute, guys. I apologize for having you guys on hold so long, but go ahead, Milt.
And that's what made Golovkin, I think, a great fighter. But the thing is, Father Time is undefeated, and he's moving up to a point in his career where Father Time is going to catch up with him. I mean, he says that he feels great, but I'm telling you, it only takes just a split second not pulling the trigger when you're supposed to pull the trigger, or you're not going to the body like you're supposed to. Like I was talking about last week, you know, when you get to a certain age and you get out on the dance floor, you want to take it back to 88. You want to take it back to 88 and 89, and it's in your mind that the dance move is gonna come out right. But when you get out there, it ain't there no more. It's the two-step. It ain't there no more.
Yeah, you thought you could do all these new dances, and I got you. But you know what? But everything you saying right now, Milt, it sounds like a personal problem for Gennady Golovkin.
It really
is.
Where
if that is the case, you know, then he's just looked at as, I mean, let's just be honest, it's almost like a butterbean. You know, I ain't saying he's a butterbean, but this is my point. My point is, if you only fought to a certain level and then your career was done, you never end up fighting against guys that were your equals outside of Canelo Alvarez. You never fought against the Charlos, the most dangerous opponents. When the Sharks came to the water, that's when you left. You know,
it's unfortunate, but the thing is, you can only fight who's out there.
But they're there now, though.
The middleweight division just got stacked.
Yeah, that's the time. Yeah. That's not the time. That's the time for Golovkin to leave. Though
it's unfortunate. It's past his time.
Now, Abel Sanchez. Abel Sanchez told me in the interview that Golovkin was going to stay for another 3 to 5 years, because I asked Abel.
He may stay,
I said, I said, Abel, what do you think about Golovkin? What do you think about Golovkin saying that, you know, he wants to hang with his family? He said fights are getting more difficult, is what he said. He said every fight is difficult, to quote him. And Abel said, "Oh no, you know, that's just people, changing what he said, and that's what some people do in the media." He said no, he's going to stick around for 3-5 years. So just your reaction to what Milt just said, and Abel saying that, Kirk.
Well, what Abel said, with fighters, as you grow older and as you start to have families, I think it's natural for you to want to spend more time with your family and look at that exit plan. You know, you start to, when you wake up every day, you know, things aren't the same when you were 25. You're 35 now. You know, you don't heal as quickly. You know, you think about the damage that you sustain, not only during the actual fight, but training leading up to the fight and being away from your family. So I think before the fight with Canelo was made, I always thought that he was looking for a way out to get that money fight and, you know, bow out gracefully, because from a public perception standpoint, he's the most avoided fighter since, you know, whoever, and he's a powerful guy. No one wants to fight him, so he can leave out on a note stating that no one wanted to fight me. I finally got that one fight, whatever, I'm this and that. But to what Milton was saying earlier, I think the question that we ask for every fighter is, like, do you dare to be great? Are you going to go out of your way to fight great opponents?
Yeah.
You know, we've seen guys like Roberto Duran or Floyd Mayweather move up in weight several times, Oscar De La Hoya, et cetera, the list goes on. And they've sought those challenges. So we shouldn't hold Golovkin to a different standard. He should have to live by that same criteria if we want to consider him a great fighter.
Yeah, and he won't be looked at as a great fighter when you look at all the things that Andre Ward is doing today. You look at what Floyd Mayweather did, moving up 5 weight classes, and Golovkin doesn't even have to do that. But once again, if we're comparing them to all the great fighters, he won't be considered one of them. He would just be considered a guy who was a champion at the time. And when the going got rough, that's when he was gone. You know what I mean? So that's how he's going to be remembered. But once again, we have to remember when it comes to his age. I got to say this again too, though, Milt. When it comes to his age, he started his career late. You know, so it's not like he was fighting at age 20. It's not like he turned pro at age 15, anything like that. He started late. He hasn't dealt with too much damage. He's never been in a Barrera Morales type fight before. You know, and all of a sudden, we have to ask ourselves if he's old. When was he young? When was he in his prime? When was his best performance? And I believe even you said, Milt, that his best performance was against David Lemieux. Didn't you say that?
Probably,
yeah. So
it is what it is.
I would agree.
Yeah,
it is what it is. And probably Martin Murray also.
If Floyd Mayweather's best performance or Andre Ward's best performance was against David Lemieux and then they retired and they didn't fight,
oh man,
can you imagine?
But he
how he would be perceived.
But he fought Canelo.
No, I'm saying hypothetically.
Oh, okay. Hypothetically.
No, I'm saying yeah, but he fought Canelo Alvarez.
Right.
But what I'm saying is you have all these,
and that wasn't a bad performance against Canelo, and it wasn't a bad performance. Against Danny.
It could have went either way.
It could have, but both
no,
of them.
A lot of people, a lot of people think he lost to Danny. Though
I don't think he won.
Yes, if all of your big fights are they end in controversy, you know, you don't really get all the accolades, you know, from that kind of win. I mean, money.
I'm just saying this. I'm not saying. I'm not talking about Triple G, the greatest middleweight of all time.
No, that's not what we said. We're comparing him. We're comparing him to the other fighters today.
It is all situational.
His peers.
It's all situational. I give you a good example. Errol Spence. I love Errol Spence, man, to death, and I think he's the greatest welterweight out there right now. But the thing is, if no other welterweights will fight him, and then he's forced to move up because he's young enough, he can put on weight, and he probably can manage that. You know, and he's forced to move up at 154. He's fighting out of, at a new weight class, and it's much heavier hitters, or he's forced to move up to middleweight because, you know, if he keeps having to move in order to get, you know, good fights, or before somebody will fight him, how does he ever prove that he was the greatest welterweight at one point in time?
Yeah, but the difference...
You get what I'm saying?
But the difference, Milt, is
it's
Errol
not like
Spence,
people are calling out Errol Spence either.
But the difference, Milt, is if it was the same situation, it would have to be a group of tough fighters that are calling out Errol, and he says, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just retire right now. You know, the thing is, we've never seen Golovkin in there outside of Canelo. And Canelo is somebody who moved up in weight that, you know, he's been calling out since day one. We know that was a money fight. I mean, it's a good win, but it could have went either way. But once again, Errol Spence would have to avoid about 5 fighters or something like that for it to be the same situation, because you got Charlo, you got Andrade. We never seen Golovkin in a fight where it's really, really considered a 50-50 fight outside of the Canelo fight. But that fight is still up in the air right now, you know? Okay. So, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Even if he were to just beat Canelo Alvarez, go ahead. Even if he were to just beat Canelo Alvarez, You have all of these guys that are your mandatories. It can't just be a convenient coincidence that this is when you decide to not fight your mandatories. When it's Charlo, you know, as opposed to it being Wade or somebody like that. And what did we see different in Golovkin performance-wise? What did we see different in Golovkin from when he fought Willie Monroe and when he fought Danny Jacobs? What did we see different? Only thing we seen different was the style. Danny Jacobs had power. He had height compared to Willie Monroe, who didn't have any knockouts, was smaller. You know, real quick, I want to make sure.
Well, and going into that fight, people thought Danny Jacobs was going to get knocked out.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
I told people you can.
Well, I mean, I didn't either.
We're talking about the perception. We're talking about general perception is what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
Go ahead, Kirk. Anything else?
Well, I was going to also say, well, where do we rank Golovkin currently amongst the all-time great middleweights? Because, I mean, there's been talk from ESPN. You would probably think that he's probably one of the greatest middleweights of all time, but I don't even have him better than Hopkins.
Well, ESPN.
Oh, of course you're not.
I mean, ESPN. Once again, ESPN has him as pound for pound the best fighter in the world. After everyone said that, you know, when Andre Ward. Well, I won't include ESPN on that one. But the bottom line is, you know, when you have fighters like Lomachenko, you have Terrence Crawford, and then you have Golovkin, who in his last two fights, a lot of people believe he lost those fights. How is he considered pound for pound? Because if Floyd Mayweather or Andre Ward or anyone on a coincidental list, if their last two fights was one of their biggest step-ups in competition, and a lot of people believe they lost the fight, that's like them putting Castillo, Floyd Mayweather as pound for pound, you know, after he beat Castillo, you know, like throwing him up there after that fight. You know, when we all know that a lot of people said that he lost that fight. You know, so yeah. I mean,
let me. I just want to respond to Matthew Valentine, and I know you're saying, you know, EJ, you know, Errol Spence is going to eventually have an opportunity to prove himself, but the man fought for the strap earlier this year and has been begging for a unification fight with others. I mean, he's been begging for some top level competition at 147. I mean, if he continues to do this, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it probably won't eventually happen, but that's what Triple G had to deal with for a few years while he was, I think, in his physical prime. You know, about 3 years ago, if they would have caught him then, you know, there was no real competition at 160.
But the problem with, once again,
unfortunately,
you know what? I'll ramble on. So let me. I'll get back to my point. Let me take a call because I could just. We'll talk about this all night. But
is that
I'm gonna get back to my point though.
Yeah.
Is he in the? He might be. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me go ahead. I got the Montgomery Brothers on the line right now. For those of you guys just tuning in right now, these guys are serious. You guys are going to be hearing a lot about them. Matter of fact, I have Malik Montgomery, his highlights of him knocking out cats and looking real good on my channel. I'll put the link in the description box. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to go and let you guys know go. I know I had you guys on here for a while. If you guys could just go ahead and give your final thoughts and let everybody know where they can follow you guys. Malik Brothers. Let me unmute. I had one of you guys on mute because it was still noisy. So let me unmute one of them. Okay, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, you know, Malik Montgomery. You can follow me on Facebook at Malik Montgomery. It's MALIEK with 10, you know, the misspell Malik. And you can follow me on Instagram at Malik_Mayhem95.
Okay, so there's a lot of noise in the background from the other call, but I'll put your link. I'll get it and I'll put your link in the description so they can follow you. All right, Malik.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, man. Hey, man. Thank you for joining the show, man. And once again, we're gonna do it again after you get another good win. All right, man.
Man, thank you for having us, Dante. It's always good, man. You helping out these young prospects, you know, getting us on this platform.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for even wanting to be over here with the nation, man. I appreciate it. Mikhail, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, man. Anything else on your mind? Anything else you want to say to the fans, man? Let them follow you.
Just follow me on Instagram at 50cal. That's 50KAIL. Look me up on Facebook, Cal Montgomery. Just look out for me and my brothers. You know, and being that I'm the youngest, I got a lot to prove. Definitely going behind me, my big brother.
Okay.
You do well, shawty.
And last but not least, Mike Jr.
He had to step out. He had to do something, but you can find him on Instagram at Mike60.
Okay, you guys are breaking up bad, so don't worry about it, man. I'll put all your guys' Instagram links in the description box so they can follow you guys. So hey man, hope I didn't keep you guys up too long.
You all take it easy now.
Take care, okay, guys?
You too, bro.
All right, y'all. All right, guys. So we're gonna get to a call. So that was the Malik brothers.
Montgomery Brothers.
Yeah. I said Malik. Yeah, I'm over here looking at the calls right now. Yeah, the Montgomery Brothers, man. The trio. You guys gonna be hearing a lot about them, man. Right now, they're all undefeated, all knockouts right now. Aggressive fighters. So you decafs might have to give them a hope insurance card, you know, because that's y'all say y'all like that aggressive stuff. That's what y'all claim. Let's go ahead and take a call real quick, Milt.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we got 310. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from, man?
Hey, yo, Dante, this is Julio from Compton, California.
Julio from Compton. Boy, you right down the street. Boy, you next door. At least when I was out there. What's going on, Julio? What's on your mind, man?
Well, you know what is in my mind? First of all, I want to thank you because you do a great job. I like your show. I see you every day, every time. You got some great shit, man. You got to say that.
Hey, appreciate it.
Good looking out, man. What's on your mind? Go ahead, get into it, man. I can tell you got some stuff you want to get off your chest, man. Get it off, man.
You know what? About this fight, BJ Saunders and Lemieux. I feel like that was the easiest fight. I think anybody could beat Lemieux.
Anybody could beat Lemieux.
Even Golovkin, you could have just beat him. And I feel like BJ Saunders wants to fight now, Golovkin, because he sees that he's busy because of Canelo's second fight. That's what I see. But he called him out, right? And I feel that it's just in front of him because he would have fought him before, but he didn't. You feel me? And I gotta feel that when Mino was talking about Golovkin, I kind of feel him about that part about being a good fighter and everything. I know that he's the number one right now. He's the number one right now because he has the belts.
You saying Golovkin? You saying Golovkin's number one because he has the belts right now? Is that what you said?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know he's avoided and everything, but
no, he ain't avoided right now.
Not anymore.
He ain't.
He's looked vulnerable.
He's not avoided right now.
Say, you know,
he's not avoided right.
He's looked
he really wasn't avoidable back then because I still can't think of any fighter that outside of the only fighter that really avoided him was Sergio Martinez. Now that was the guy who did avoid Golovkin, but outside of Sergio Martinez, it was nobody that avoided him.
It was Sergio. It was now he took the fight, but he took him on a while, and that was Miguel Cotto. So there's three fighters that actually did him.
That's what I was gonna say.
BJ Saunders too. And BJ Saunders too, and now he's gonna come.
Now he's calling him out, but Billy Joe Saunders was not calling him out then.
No,
I'll tell you who all was competition back then. You know, you had Sergio.
He said something.
You had Sergio.
He said something about Golovkin back in the day.
Who that?
Yeah, and I mean, a couple of years back. I mean, when there's the level of competition wasn't there. I mean, he was seeing it out because now there's competition. And I feel like Golovkin is about to get an exit part because he wants the money now.
I know.
So
Sergio was not going to fight him. Cotto was not going to fight him. Canelo was not going to fight him. And all of those, they were passing the lineal title around like it was a $10 blunt.
Well, let me.
None of them wanted to fight him. Billy Joe didn't want to fight him. Andy Lee didn't want to fight him. Corball didn't want to fight him.
But you talking about fighters that are not the best that don't want to fight him.
That was the best at the time. That was it. There was no Danny Jacobs. Danny was coming back up on the rise, and Danny wasn't like in no rush to fight him either. Then, where do
we rank
at 160? Let me tell you, I'm running them down. Go ahead. 160, you had Danny. Then you also had I already said Andy Lee and Corball, and then you had it wasn't the division was not that rife with competition. I know. And people he was trying to get to fight him, they wouldn't fight him.
Yeah.
So then you had Miller Monroe.
So what do you do? So
even Peter Quinlan.
Okay, let me put it. Okay,
let's Quinlan on the WBO. He didn't want to fight.
Peter Quinlan didn't want to fight.
So let's use a simple analogy. Okay, hold on. Is that Kurt?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kurt. And I'm going to say something after that. But go ahead, Kurt.
I was going to say, in reference to Peter Quillen, because I interviewed him like 4 or 5 times, never said he never wanted to fight Golovkin. He actually said he wants to fight him, but there is politics, there is different barriers that stand in the way from making that fight happen.
Wait a minute. Didn't he give up that belt? I thought.
Let me go further than that.
I mean, anybody can say anything.
Okay, let me go further. A lot of things too. Absolutely. But let's go further than that. Let's just use a simple analogy. Okay. Let's say you single right now, right? You looking for a girl. You got about 6 girls that done dissed you, right? But you got another 3 or 4 of them that look just as bad.
No, they didn't look just as bad.
Matter of fact, hold on. Matter of fact, you gonna get more credit walking down the street with this girl than you do walking around with them girls that dissed you. So what I'm saying is, do you just stay single, or do you go ahead and you date the girls, that look appealing, that you attracted to, or you say, I'm not gonna date no more because them 6 girls diss me. You feel because this is what Golovkin did.
No, it's not.
Let's say Golovkin had all these people you guys are saying that avoided him, right? But Andre Ward was considered pound for pound. What looks better on your resume? Beating Andre Ward or beating Andy Lee? Beating Andre Ward or beating Miguel Cotto? Erislandy Lara, he could be still considered undefeated today.
I already said
you can say he's undefeated. He's never been knocked out. What looks better on your resume? Knocking out Erislandy Lara or knocking out Andy Lee? So my point is, if you have a problem with people fighting you, and all of a sudden better fighters emerge, better than the guys you actually called out, and you don't want to fight them, how does that make Golovkin look good at all? Is my point.
We can say that about Spence too.
Okay, hold on. How can you say that about Spence? Spence is not turning down any fighters. He's not turning down any fighters though. So how can you say that?
I told you the only fight that.
Oh, okay. You saying they avoided Spence? Okay.
They are avoiding Spence.
Same thing.
No, wait.
Spence is avoided.
Wait. You are comparing.
But what I'm saying is.
But you can't compare the Spence situation, though.
You can.
Okay.
You can.
I'll let you talk.
You can. Say for instance, Spence is 33, 34 years old, and then now when he gets 35, everybody want. Oh shit! Now me or either. Danny, I give Danny Jacobs all the props in the world because everybody thought Danny was not going to take that fight, or Danny was avoiding him, or Danny was ducking him. But I mean, he waited till the time was right, for the money was right, and the situation was right, and he got himself in the position, and he did an outstanding job. I mean, we walked away thinking that he may have won that fight. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I give Danny all the credit in the world, but I just listed about 6 top guys at that time,
and I just
and I tell you, I told
better fighters.
That was there wasn't but one other better fighter.
No, there were 2 better fighters.
I don't think Lara beats him. I still don't.
No. I said if Golovkin beats Lara, I didn't even talk about Lara beating him. I said what looks better on Lara's resume, on Golovkin's resume, Golovkin beating or knocking out Lara, or him knocking out Andy Lee.
Neither Andy Lee. Because
you
the
think
thing,
it looks better?
yes.
How?
No.
Because
I would have to say
Laura is a smaller
But
fighter.
Andy Lee had already been knocked out before.
Laura is the smaller guy, and you will never look good
But
beating
people
a
think-
smaller
but
guy.
it's- no,
if
that's
he
not
went
true.
down and
That's not
beat
true.
Laura at what Lomachenko is going through it right now with Rigo. He
That's not
beat a
true.
smaller man. He beat a smaller man that was real technical,
So
and
you
now he
believe-
ain't getting no credit.
So you
a lot of
believe-
people don't want to give him credit for
So
it.
you believe an Andy Lee win? What would that do for Golovkin's
At
career?
that time.
Okay, at that time. At that
you
time,
talking
what would it do for his
3-4 years
career?
ago. You talking 3 or 4 that he was calling them
Money.
out.
Money.
At that time.
We got to get you in. So your thoughts on this? Compare your thoughts on
At that time.
You believe that a win over Andy Lee would look better than a win over Lara for Golovkin?
I see what both of you guys are saying. I don't mean to sound like I'm being political, but both of you all make solid points. To me, yeah, if he knocks Andy Lee out, of course, but Andy Lee has been knocked out. But the downside about Lara is that he is smaller. However, it is almost impossible to knock this guy out. So it's, even if you did knock him out, well, you know, people are going to say, well, he was a smaller guy, this, that, and the other. But this guy has never been knocked down before. So that, you know, in some people's minds, see, it's perspective. It just depends on how you look at it. Most people are probably, on average, going to say, oh, yeah, the guy that has probably never been knocked out before that gives everyone trouble, you know. So it just depends on how you really look at it.
Okay, and
that's my personal opinion.
And somebody's background, I don't know whose background it is. I don't know where that's coming from. But yeah, somebody's background. Okay, it just stopped. Somebody's background is really, really noisy. But
in money, I'll put it like this. Laura was smaller, and then also, Laura is gonna make it. And I know why his people didn't want him to take that fight. I know why they didn't want him to take that fight or the Andre Ward fight.
We can't really say.
Okay, well,
we can't really say you know why.
Do you know how?
Hey, guys. Let's just say, for the sake of saying, that Triple G came down to 154. Now, let's say if he thinned himself down to 154, now you might have something a little bit different. But up until that time, if it says, okay, well, Lara comes up to 160, and it's, but if Triple G would have challenged himself, because he did say, and he went from 154 up to 168. If he did say, come down to 154, and let's say he knocks Lara out, he's never been that low before. Now you got something to talk about.
Let me say
now,
this.
In that instance, I could see something like that.
Let me say this, though.
Well, another point to make is this, too. How much credit do we give Golovkin for beating Kell Brook? Because he's a welterweight. He moved up.
Yeah, he was a welterweight.
I don't give him much credit on that one.
But see,
and then the thing is,
y'all
also got to look at the reason why he fought Kell Brook. He went over there to make a contract with Chris Eubank. And Chris Eubank's father got to tripping and
he turned it down.
Yeah, basically they ended up turning it down, but he was pricing himself out of the fight. They already had the venue set, and Kell Brook wanted to avoid fighting Errol Spence, so to hold on to the strap just a little bit longer, he took the Triple G fight.
Yeah.
He made more money, he kept his strap, and so there were other factors. It's all situational. Don't make it seem as though he went over there specifically to fight Kell
Well,
Brook.
I'm not, but I want to talk about the bigger picture, because
Kell Brook was a hella big welterweight.
This is the main thing we're talking about. The main thing we're talking about is Golovkin having opportunities to fight, you know, a good opponent that's going to make him look good, are going to be a good win on his resume. Like I said, if you have a pound-for-pound champion like Andre Ward, and you beat him,
he's not going to beat Andre Ward.
Of course, he's not going to beat him.
At one point, I thought he may have beaten Andre Ward at 160.
But that's my whole point.
It would have been a tough fight. It would have been a really good fight at 160.
But this
I
is
think
my
Andre
point.
Ward gets him.
But this is my point, though. That's my whole point.
At 168,
if you believe that you're the best, you telling everybody you're gonna fight everybody from 154 to 168. You have people avoiding you, like my man Julio. I wanted to get back to Julio's point. Julio, you once again you compared it to Errol Spence. The difference from Errol Spence is if one fighter is avoiding him, he's going to fight the next guy. Errol Spence is not in the situation where he has, okay, if Keith Thurman doesn't want to fight him, if these other welterweights don't want to fight him, and let's just say hypothetically, you know, let's just say hypothetically, let's kind of change it to make it more similar to Golovkin's situation. Let's say Keith Thurman didn't want to fight him, but Sean Porter wanted to fight him. Let's say Danny Garcia wanted to fight him, right? You think Errol Spence is going to turn those fights down? Absolutely not. This is what Golovkin is doing.
No, it's not.
Hold on, no. Let me finish. Let me finish. Golovkin once again. Golovkin, like you guys said, he avoided these fighters. They didn't want to fight him. But you had Andre Ward that was there. You had Lara. So when you say there was no reason for him to fight Lara because he was smaller, like Kirk just said right now, you can't even use that excuse because he fought Kell Brook, who was smaller than Edeslandi Lara. So clearly Golovkin doesn't care how he looks when even Golovkin himself, he said before and after the fight, the guy is too small. He said that before and after the fight. So if you felt that way about Kell Brook, how come you didn't feel that way about Edeslandi Lara?
Because he ain't gonna make the money he made fighting Kell Brook. So he gonna fight Edeslandi Lara.
Okay, then why fight Wade? Why fight Adama? If it's a money thing, why fight Wade? Why fight Adama? He didn't make that kind of money either.
He made money.
Okay, wait. You said he made money against Wade, but he wouldn't make it against Lara?
He wasn't gonna make that money that he fought for fighting Kell Brook that he would against.
I know, Lara. but what I was saying is, you said he's not going to make the money against Lara. I'm comparing Lara to the Willie Monroes, the guys he really didn't make a lot of money against. He didn't make a lot. Golovkin didn't make a lot of money against.
No, he didn't.
So that's my point. So why not fight them then?
Like there's no point to fighting them.
Yeah. You guys leave the door open. When these type of excuses are used, and then they contradict themselves. I'm saying the fighter. The fighter, he leaves himself open for contradiction. Go ahead, Money.
Oh, I was just saying, at this point in time, like we've discussed in previous discussions,
I'm gonna let Julio go, man. I'm gonna get to another call. Sorry,
Julio.
All right, Julio, take care, man.
At this stage of sorry.
Go ahead, Money.
At this stage of their career, it is very simple. It is about making as much money as you possibly can before you walk out the door without taking too much of a risk. That's what this is about right now.
No, go ahead. It's fine. Go ahead. But I mean, right. This is prize fighting money. Absolutely, everyone wants to make money. But once again, my whole thing is, you have these fighters: Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Gennady Golovkin, Andre Ward. All these fighters came up at the same time. They're all in the same era right now. So if you just have one fighter in particular, like Gennady Golovkin, who didn't fight the same type of competition that his peers are fighting right now, I mean, doesn't that kind of stand out when it comes to Golovkin is all I'm saying. I mean, because we already know Terrence Crawford, they said he wasn't going to fight Postal. He fought Postal. They said he wasn't going to fight Felix Diaz. He fought Felix Diaz. He steps up. He fights an undefeated champion. He
annihilated these guys.
Yeah, this is my point.
He separated himself from these guys that he fought. There was no. But when it comes to Golovkin, unfortunately for him, that's not the same thing. It's like he barely crossed that finish line. You can't look like that at that level. I mean, that's just my personal opinion now. You can't look like that at that level.
Yeah, and see,
not only that. I'm sorry. Not only that, but Golovkin had the goal of unifying the weight, all the titles, getting all the belts. How is it that Terrence Crawford ends up moving up in weight and capturing the belts, all the belts at 140 before you can at 150? Yeah. You've been there your entire career. Absolutely. And then he's moving up again to get another title, and then to try and unify with guys that are considered in top 10 pound for pound, depending on who you ask, when he's trying to fight guys like Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. Mm-hmm. So there's not even really a comparison. I mean,
it's not a comparison.
Terrence Crawford is just on another level, man. And what he's doing and going at people.
Mm-hmm. But it's not even Terrence, though. You look at Terrence's accomplishments. You look at Andre Ward's accomplishments. You look at Floyd Mayweather's accomplishments. You look at what Errol Spence is willing to do. I had already said before the Kell Brook fight, I always thought that Kell Brook would be Errol Spence's toughest fight out of all the welterweights. I always thought that he was. Yeah, he was. And it was proven. It was proven. He looked sensational in those first 6 rounds against Errol Spence.
I thought Errol was going to wipe him out. I sincerely did.
I didn't. I really didn't.
And I'm telling you, Kell Brook in that fight proved to me that he probably is the number 2 welterweight in the world,
or at least before that loss. We gotta see how he comes back now.
Yeah, we gotta see how he bounces back
because he ain't got no more eye sockets left. You know,
who's he fighting?
That is wrong.
Yeah, I know. he got to fight. He got to fight with goggles on.
Yeah, he got to fight with goggles on. What's homeboy from X-Men?
Yeah,
he got to put.
Yeah.
Hey, but anyway, hey,
yeah, somebody else. Thank y'all for pointing that out. But Willie Monroe was a mandatory, wasn't he?
Yeah, so was Wade.
Yeah, and
Charlo was a mandatory. That's my point.
But okay, if he doesn't fight Charlo, if he doesn't fight,
go ahead.
If he doesn't fight a mandatory, which is mandatory is a real stiff right now. If he doesn't fight a mandatory after making this money off of the Canelo fight, the second Canelo fight, then hey man, he has no excuses now. But I will tell you this. I mean, he is past his prime.
Money. Let's go back to what we're talking about. Speaking of money and, making as much money as you can before you leave. Money, what do you... Cyclops, that's his name, that boy. Good looking out, that boy.
Cyclops. Okay.
Yeah, Cyclops. So Cyclops Brooks is what it is now, right?
Yeah,
but anyway...
Rabashenko. Man, we way down the rabbit hole too. We had a whole stack.
No, we still gonna get it. We gonna get into it.
Yeah, man.
We gonna go another 45 minutes. Well, maybe we try to get 2 hours in. But Money, oh man, you gonna make me forget what I was about to ask Money now. What was I about to ask Money? Oh, we was talking about the money. Oh, Abel Sanchez, like I said earlier, Money. He said that Golovkin is going to stick around for at least another 3 to 5 years. So my question is, if he is just trying to make this money against Canelo, how is he not going to fight Derevyanchenko, Charlo, Andre, Danny Jacobs rematch? How is he even going to be able to do that if he plans on fighting another 2-3 years? Or are you betting, like the question I asked you guys when we were texting, are you betting that he's going to just avoid them guys, get that Canelo money and run?
Okay, let me come at it this way, just real quick. He's going to try to stay away from the waters of the sharks and piranhas as long as he possibly can. Number 2, when I was in San Antonio, when Abel Sanchez was right there, I heard him very clearly. He stated, clear as day, I thought this was going to be it already for Triple G, but I'm still working.
He said,
now you can take that.
He said what?
Yeah, he was thinking that he was thinking that this was going to be it, like it's done. But he said, "Man, I'm still working." He's looking at retirement.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm listening to what you're saying. Now check this out.
Go ahead.
What you're saying and what he told you. But when I was right in front of him, and we were in San Antonio, he just came in the office, and I'm listening to him. I'm like, wow. That's a pretty good revelation. Now, he is not looking to do this that much longer. Now, he said 3 to 5 years for you. But when I was listening to him talk to one of these guys from Ringstar Sports, he was like, man, I'm looking like to take a vacation from this and start my construction business. I mean, like soon. So, depending on... I don't know. And
Money, that's my whole point, though. But that's kind of my point, is the inconsistencies when it comes to... This is what I have said to Abe. Matter of fact, you know what? He probably won't answer, but I'm going to try to call him up on the fly real quick. I'm going to try to call up Abel Sanchez. Let's see if he'll answer. If not, we'll set up an interview with him later on. Let's see if we can get him on. Yeah, he ain't gonna.
Hello.
Oh, he answers. Hey, Abel, I got you live. Right. Abel, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, I got you live right now, Abel. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All right. Abel Sanchez is on the line right now, Golovkin's trainer. We've been going live. We've been talking about what Golovkin is going to do. Is he going to retire? Is he going to fight all these sharks at the middleweight division? Let me just get your thoughts, Abel, first on Billy Joe Saunders' performance and what Golovkin may do.
You know what? I didn't see the fight. I read about it. I was busy with my son, but I heard he done well. He looked in great shape, and he looked like a different Billy Joe Saunders.
He did.
I don't. I thought that it would be a better fight. I thought that Lemieux was going to be able to do a little better than he did, but Saunders did his job.
Saunders did his job. And just since you didn't see it, I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, Abel, he looked real good. He controlled him with the jab, outboxed him, did whatever he wanted to do. David looked like it was his first professional fight in there, you know, so it was a dominant performance. But what we've been talking about right now is, yeah, Abel, so what is Golovkin going to fight? You got Darren Yevchenko, you got Andre, you got Charlo as the mandatory. What's the other? Danny Jacobs rematch. I'm saying outside of the Canelo fight, because I know the talks that's Cinco de Mayo, but I'm saying, assuming, you know, he gets past that, is he staying around? You told me he may fight another 3-5 years, Abel. So what do you think?
I think in his mind he's got another 3 to 4 years. I don't think he's intent on hanging him up. He's still a young man, and there's still a lot of fights out there that could be fought.
But do you see him fighting any of those guys though? What do you think? Does he just go to 168? Does he jump up and come back down? What do you think, Abel?
You know, right now I think that Tom and Oscar and Eric are talking about the rematch. Hopefully, it will happen in the middle of the year, like they said in the past. But they're the ones that are doing all the talking and they're trying to come up with some kind of solution, some kind of right negotiation for everybody, so it can happen. I think that's a fight that boxing is looking for. I think that the fans are looking for that to happen, so they can be the controversy can be put aside. But until they announce something, really, it's hard for me to imagine what could happen. It's got to be from them. I have a fighter in camp right now. I had 4 fights last month, so I've been real busy with the other kids that I have, and haven't really paid attention to what they're saying and what they're doing until they tell me that it's close to signing. Then I'll think about it.
Why has it been so difficult to make that fight, Abel? Golovkin Canelo, the rematch.
You know, that's a question you'd have to ask Eric and Tom and Oscar. I really don't know. Like I said, I've been keeping away from that because I've been busy with other guys. I have to see it fighting on the 3rd February, so we're in camp with him. And if Golovkin fights, they're talking about May anyway. I think that's what the dates were mentioned. So that's a fight that's in the future for me. I have other things that I have to be worried about right now for my part of the job.
I got you.
Okay, like what? Talk about the other stuff. Your other fighters and everything, Abel.
Well, I have Garcia that fights in that tournament. He fights Dorticos on February the 3rd.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
That's a big one, baby. I think that. That's probably going to be close. If it turns out with the guys' record, it could be fight of the year if they go at each other. I have Carlos Cuadras coming into camp on the 26th.
Oh wow!
He fights February 24th in that Superfly 2.
Yeah, the Superfly.
I have Sergey Bohachuk coming back also on that date. He fights on that card also. He's a welterweight with 5 or 6 fights. I'm not really sure how many fights he has. But it's the guys coming back. They all fought at the end of the year. They're going to start coming back in the end of December, early January, and we're going to start training to start fighting.
And Panamarev, somebody is asking right now in the comment section to ask you about Panamarev. What's his plans at 147?
You know, there were some issues with the dates that they had proposed. Arum had proposed, or Top Rank had proposed for Panamarev for Salcedo. They were conflicting. It was on the same date, and they were asking Panamarev to go to Mexico. I said the fight that was announced to me first was Salcedo, so I said, okay, I'll go with Salcedo on the 11th. And then they announced a change in date. Originally, the date for the Panamarev fight was on I think the 29th of October, so it didn't conflict with the 11th. And then when they changed it to the 11th, I had already promised Salcedo that I'd go with him to Fresno for his fight. Was when Ramirez fought what's that the young man's name from back east? Oh shoot, I forget. But Jose Ramirez fought some young guy for the Eliminator.
The undefeated prospect, or he was undefeated or something like that, right?
Yeah,
I forgot his name. Yeah, he knocked him out. I'm forgetting his name too now.
It'll come to me.
Yeah,
but anyway, we fought on that card, so it conflicted. So they took Ponomarev off of that 11th fight. They were supposed to go to Mexico City with that fight for. That's also an eliminator for the #1 spot in the IBF. So right now he's not in camp. He's home in Russia. I don't know what their plans are, but when they make up their mind, I'm sure he'll come to camp. We'll start working with him.
Okay, Kabi wants to ask you your thoughts on Sullivan Barrera versus Kovalev.
Sullivan Barrera versus Kovalev. I think that Kovalev is a little too experienced, and if his mind is right, like it was with Shabransky, obviously Shabransky I think is a little less than Sullivan, but I think Kovalev should win that fight. Kovalev is, I think he's trying to get his act together and trying to get it straight, and if he does, he's going to be dangerous again, and if Andre is not in the picture, he's going to be dangerous in the light heavyweight division.
Hey, Abel, Canelo Alvarez's trainer, he told me before his last fight, he said Canelo is going to fight all of those guys. Andre, he's going to fight the Charlos, the Danny Jacobs. Your thoughts on Canelo's trainer saying that?
Well, you know what? I think that they're going to fight the fight that are necessary for Canelo. I don't think the trainer makes the decision. I think Canelo is a grown man, and he makes the decisions in that team, as Golovkin does in our team. So I think Canelo will fight what is most beneficial for him, whether it be career-wise or financially. The trainers, we can say whatever we want. It doesn't. We're not climbing to the ropes. We're climbing to the ropes to the system, but they're going to climb to the ropes to fight. So they're going to have the ultimate decision. Not Oscar, not Eric, not Tom. The fighters, Canelo, Golovkin, Charles, all those guys will have the ultimate decision on who they fight. I think Canelo will fight sometime in the middle of the year, as will Golovkin. Who they will fight, I don't know. But those are all attractive fights. It just nothing has been set in stone yet as far as who's fighting who. Okay.
And my last question, Abel, who would you say is pound for pound right now? And you got Lomachenko, who just beat Rigo. You got Terrence Crawford. ESPN is saying it's Golovkin. I just thought about the conflict of interest right there as I was asking you that question. But outside of Golovkin, let's just say Golovkin.
Why is that a conflict of interest?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if because you trained in Golovkin. I didn't know if you had to say Golovkin.
Well, no. Okay, Golovkin aside, I think Golovkin should be pound for pound #1. But Golovkin aside, let's not consider him if he's not even in the picture. I think that Terrence has had the better resume to this date. Title defenses. I think that he needs to be considered. Lomachenko had a good fight against Rigondeaux, even though he was a little too late, I think, in the making. Rigondeaux being 37 years old, but he also has a very good resume. I think that he belongs up there. Mikey Garcia belongs up there also. I would say Kovalev is up there, but I would say it's between Terrence and Lomachenko if you're not counting Golovkin.
Okay, so you saying you leaning towards Terrence over, like I said, not including. I'm just saying if we're just comparing Terrence's accomplishments to Lomachenko's accomplishments. I think I have to lean towards Terrence. Yes. Okay. And let me just introduce you. I appreciate you answering the phone, Abel, on the fly. But I want to introduce you to my man Money Powell, the third. He has a prospect who's with what is it? Sports. I'm sorry. What is it? Money.
Ringstar Sports.
Ringstar Sports.
Hey, Abel, how's it going now? Coach Sanchez, how's everything for you?
It's going well, very well. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Hey, same here now. Same here. I saw you in New Jersey. Saw you up there in New Jersey.
Oh, yes. I remember. Yeah. You introduced yourself. Yes, right. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to introduce you guys. I know if you want to ask him something, Money, but anyway, hey, Abel, well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it, man. Anything else on your mind? Anything else you want to let the fans know, Abel? Or go ahead.
No, it's been a while since we talked, but boxing is doing well. We just need to continue the good fights next year, and we will make some more stars. I know those stars are out there. Superstars are out there. We just have to fight them and make sure that they eliminate each other so that we can get that one that sells that pay-per-view like Floyd retiring has left a void.
Absolutely. I think. Go ahead, Money. Go ahead.
Hey, Abel. Yeah, Abel. What I was going to ask you, I don't know if you may remember it or not, but I remember you talking one day. It was just when the guys were all registering everything here and there, and you were saying that I said, man, it must be nice. You were talking about getting ready to, you were thinking that you go on vacation soon, like away from boxing sometime soon. I was like, wow.
I wish I could. Okay. I could say that and have a vacation, but you know what? The moment is now. Sometimes, just like your show right here with my man here. When your time is there, you have to take advantage of it because they're fleeting moments. These fighters have their period of time where they're in their prime. Let's just say prime, not only physically but mentally. So I think that we as coaches have to devote our time so that doesn't pass them.
That's understood. That's understood because you just never know. You never know. Time waits for no one.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And I wish you the best. Also, I wish you the best in your construction business as well. Coming up.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey, you got it now. All right.
Abel, I just have one. Abel, I have one question. This is Big Milk, Dante's Boxing Nation. I think until someone beats Golovkin, Gennady is probably going to be the #1 guy at middleweight. But who do you think is the second toughest middleweight out there in the, as far as competition for Golovkin right now?
Well, I think right now the fight that, because of the controversy of the last fight, I think Canelo right now is what everybody's looking at. As far as styles, for me, I think Billy Joe's got a nice style. I think that Jacobs learned a lot from the fight with Golovkin. Mm-hmm. So all these guys are improving. They're all searching and reaching for that #1 guy, and they're all getting better. So they have that hunger. Sometimes in boxing, what beats the top guy is not necessarily a guy that was better, but complacency, and hopefully that doesn't happen to us. We want to continue working hard just like we have. If a guy has a great night like Buster Douglas did against Mike Tyson, then anything can happen in this game. But complacency is a killer for these guys at the top. Golovkin's been on top for a long time. He's got a lot of defenses, and I hope that I don't allow that to happen. I hope that I'm diligent in the work that we do so that these young guys are not going to have it over on us.
That's true. I know that Gennady right now is moving to the 40 side of 35. He's moving in that direction. With older fighters, when you're moving in that direction, I know you want to try to keep as active as possible so that ring rust doesn't build up. How are y'all going to be,
it's not so much the ring rust. I think that what happens is that in Golovkin too, Mikey Garcia happened to Mikey Garcia for a little while there, is you don't fight and you stay out of the gym, and then you have to at a later stage in your career, you have to kick your butt to get back to where you were before, and you're putting that abuse on the body that wears it down a lot quicker. The ring rust is not something that, like I said, I'm so much concerned with, but I'm more concerned with the fact that we have 6 months off or 7 months off, and then we bring them back to the gym and put them through that grind for 10 weeks. The body breaks down a lot quicker.
Okay. Do you believe that Golovkin has aged in his last couple of years? You believe he's aged? Is he a different fighter, for the worse or anything like that, Abel?
Of course he's aged. We celebrated 2 birthdays since the last time we talked. Of course he's aged.
Go ahead.
You know what? Until somebody dominates him, then I'm going to say he's aged. Nobody's been able to dominate him. There've been close fights, but until somebody dominates him, it's hard to say that he's aged. I mean, what do we want out of a guy that just continues to win? I think that the aging process shows in the fight by the other guy just being one step ahead. As in, let's just say Lemieux and Saunders. Saunders, say, was the young guy and Lemieux was the old guy, not necessarily in age, but in just that's where they looked. And when that starts to happen, then okay, they're aging, but nobody's done that to Golovkin yet.
And I agree. We were talking about that before I called you up, Abel. Me personally, I don't see a difference when it comes to Golovkin and physical wear and tear when it comes to him aging. So he looks like the same Golovkin to me. But yeah, man. But
remember that, Dante, the guys are getting better. The opposition is getting better. The opposition is having time to scout and to to put up a game plan and to do different things because they're the ones that are trying to get to that spot. Golovkin, we can prepare for the guy that's coming up, but we're preparing for a guy that we saw, say, a fight ago or 2 fights ago. These guys that are coming up to fight him are preparing for the fight of their life, for a lottery ticket, for consideration pound for pound, for having 4 belts, all those things. So they're hungry. They're hungry and they want to win. So these guys that are coming up like Charlo and like Jacobs and like Billy Joe Saunders, who even though he's a champion, still is not really recognized as a top middleweight. Maybe after this one he will be. They're all gunning for that top spot.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all hungry, no doubt about it. I asked you that question before already. So that's pretty much it for me. Wilder versus let's close out with Wilder, Joshua. All this talk right now with Wilder and Joshua. Abel, your thoughts, man?
Well, Wilder, I don't think has got the athletic skills. Let's just say that Joshua has boxing skills. But if Wilder hits somebody with the right hand, they're going to sleep for a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks. Oh man!
I like call him up 2 weeks later. And, hey, remember you were in a fight? I just think Wilder has the right hand that's lethal.
Oh my!
He does. It's devastating. There's no denying that.
Everybody always reference Wilder's right hand with some type of joke, like
it's freakish.
It's freakish,
yeah, man.
It's freakish, man.
I think that thing will cure cancer.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Anyway, hey, once again, thank you, Abel Sanchez. I really appreciate it, man.
Okay.
Talk to you when the fight gets made, man.
Thank
All
you.
right, take care, man.
You guys have a great night.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You too, man.
Hey, thank you as well.
All right, you guys.
Bye-bye now.
You guys heard it.
That's
from
what we
Abel
do.
Sanchez.
That's what we do.
So I mean,
The man himself.
Yeah, man. I mean, let's go straight to the source, right?
Right.
Well, you heard what he said though, Milt. He said that he doesn't believe that Golovkin has age.
He said he aged, man.
He said he had a birthday.
He said he done had 2 birthdays since then.
Well, you know what he mean when he said that. Come on now. Yeah, well, I agree with that.
He has slowed down a step, man, and everybody else has gained a step.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that. The gap on him has closed. But I will say,
giving them excuses that they not even using themselves.
I'm not, but this is what I see for myself. Oh. I'm not giving it to him.
What do you see though when you say that?
Yeah.
You see it for yourself.
To me, Dante,
go ahead, man.
It's taking longer. It's taking longer for him to get going.
It is.
In his last fight, it was so obvious. I was worried because I wanted him to win. And I love Canelo. Don't get me wrong. But I'm in it for this older guy. Mm. But, like I said before, and I'll say this real quick. When we saw Usain Bolt back in 2008, 2012,
man,
when he came out the hole, he was blowing people away. But by the time he got to 2016, he's not pulling away from people like he was once before.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what's happening to Triple G now.
Exactly.
But the difference...
I think it's a combination of a few things, though. I can't just say that it's age. I mean, of course, that's going to play somewhat of a factor. But I think just even with Canelo, I think it was the matter of he's fighting a guy who's much better than who he's fought previously.
You took the word.
Yeah. You mean wear and tear? You mean wear and tear?
What's that?
You mean wear and tear on the body, Kirk?
No, I mean you're gonna have wear and tear because when you're going through a training camp, when you're training, you're gonna experience wear and tear, especially as you get older.
Well, you're definitely not gonna get younger. Yeah, that's for sure.
Because you don't recover as quicker, but I don't think it's just wear and tear and him getting older. I think it's the quality of opposition.
The quality of opposition.
Let
me say this because I wanted to respond to like what you guys are saying. Now the Usain Bolt comparison. Remember, Usain, he's been racing against the same guys, so it was the same level of opposition. So we see a difference when his speeds are not the same. Right, because he's racing against the same guys. With Golovkin,
but he's also racing against the clock.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
So his time is
slow.
He's not world class.
Absolutely, he's racing against the clock.
Mm-hmm.
But with Golovkin, we cannot compare him starting faster against Rubio, him starting faster against Andrade, versus him starting faster against or slower against Danny Jacobs or Canelo Alvarez. I mean, it's the same thing with undefeated prospects. You know, how many undefeated prospects do we see look sensational against Uber drivers and journeymen, you know, and people like that, and then all of a sudden they step up in competition, we see a different type of fighter. How many times do we see a volume puncher who's known for, you know, his output? He gets in there with an intelligent fighter. Now he's not letting his hands go anymore.
I put it like this. I saw
much like Paul Williams. Paul Williams, you know, against everyone else versus Laura. That would be a pretty good comparison.
Yeah,
I see where you're coming.
Yeah, but it's Pacquiao, absolutely. Pacquiao versus Mayweather.
Unfortunately, though, with boxing, styles make
fights.
fights.
Look different. Like he looked very cautious and nervous when he fought Canelo, and that's just because the magnitude of the event, for one, and for two, Canelo's a lot better than Dominic Wade. You know, Canelo's a lot better than William.
I put it.
So, so we can't attribute it to age.
But I just say he wasn't pulling the trigger.
In
the Canelo fight, it looked like he did not pull the trigger as quickly as I think he would have if this was 2 or 3 years ago.
He was cautious. He was 2 or 3 years ago. He wasn't fighting Canelo 2 or 3 years ago.
If he had fought Canelo 2 or 3 years ago, he wouldn't have been as cautious.
That's a huge if, though.
I don't believe he would have been as cautious.
Let me
I do not believe that. And then on top of that, styles make fights.
Absolutely.
I go all the way back to B-Hop when he fought B-Hop Roy Jones Jr. B-Hop and Roy Jones Jr. I think Roy was maybe 25 or 24, 25. B-Hop might have been in 27. They both young. They both, I mean, highly skilled fighters. Up until that point, Roy was embarrassing everybody. Up until that point, B-Hop was cleaning them out. And then they met each other. When you have two superior fighters who are fighting each other, you know, after they've been beating everybody else that looks subpar, and they come together, you don't always get the knockout. It's the same thing.
We're not talking about a knockout. We never talk.
You didn't get a knockout, and then and Roy didn't look as masterful against B-Hop as he had against everybody else. He won that fight, but that was a tough, hard-nosed win.
It was something. It was something about his style that just offset Roy. Just like you know, you just have some guys that are like your kryptonite in a sense.
But Roy,
you know, and that's why you have to be a little bit smarter in how you go about doing it.
Roy actually looked better in the rematch, you know, when he fought against Antonio Tarver than he did in the first fight. He just got caught with that shot. Antonio beat him to the punch. But I wanted to go back to the fight, the Golovkin-Canelo fight. This is how we know you can't attribute it to age. Because in that fight, if you guys notice, Canelo started off better than Golovkin. Golovkin got better as the fight went on. So it wasn't it wasn't the other way around, which would be more of a, you know, age type situation where you would expect.
No, not necessarily. You have to get into that groove.
I can't say that.
We were just talking about your knees earlier, right? You know, when you first get that to the gym, you got to warm them knees up, and then when you get into your workout, you know that, okay, yeah, we done made it through that workout. Then when the workout over, you get home and you sit down and relax, then Father Time tell you, yeah, man, this ain't the same.
You're right. You could use those examples.
It takes a minute for you to warm it up.
But this is the point. If we seen Golovkin against a Willie Monroe Rubio opponent today, and he didn't finish them the way he finished them then we could say, oh yeah, this is an age thing. We know if Golovkin had a rematch with Wade right now, if he had a rematch with Willie Monroe, if he had a rematch with Adama, he had a rematch with David Lemieux, we would see the exact type of results. It probably would be even more.
I don't know. I'm not.
I mean, it's like when Pacquiao lost to Floyd, and you have some fans saying that Pacquiao was just old. Then his very next fight, he fought against Bradley in the third fight, and he looked sensational. And everyone said that's the Pacquiao of old, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You know something.
Go ahead.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but it comes back. Yeah, some people can say it can attribute it to age, but also just like Kirk was saying, styles as well. You know, certain styles are always, you know, like Riddick Bowe is always going to give Evander Holyfield trouble. It wasn't until Evander's second fight when he had Emmanuel Stewart to help guide him in a certain way, because if he didn't, he would meet the same demise again, just like he did in his third bout, roughly, in a sense. You're just going to have those guys that are just like your kryptonite. And, and when you... Dante, I see what you're saying. I mean, I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's my point.
Where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
That's my point, Money.
Loch Ness self-made. Which one you looking at?
Oprah.
Yeah, they talk about Oprah.
They said Oprah will beat the hell out of David Lemieux. That's my.
I think I take Oprah.
Yeah. Split decision. Oprah by split decision.
But they was asking me, did I think Triple G would win in the rematch with Jacobs and Canelo? Jacobs definitely not. Canelo, man, that one I don't know. But because I will tell you, Jacobs is the kind of guy that, I mean, he's in his physical prime, and then also I think his mind is sharpened since that fight. I could see that even though it wasn't the same competition, but Cuba Arias, I could see him doing some things, man, that he's worked on, that he's really improved. And Canelo, I think, is gonna just like Abel just said. Canelo is maybe not be that Golovkin is slowing down. Maybe it's not, but everybody else is getting better, and they're closing the gap. And it's gonna be tough for him to win that rematch, man. It's gonna be either one of those rematches.
I think with Jacobs, not only is he in his physical prime, but his confidence walking away from the Golovkin fight. Yeah. Because as that fight was ending with Golovkin, he was the one punking him, so to speak, and putting his hands on him physically. And it's like he's a whole another fight. Like, confidence will affect the fighter tremendously. Confidence is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than any kind of...
Yes.
Oh, and I'm sorry. We've been talking so much, we ain't even went to the phone lines.
My bad.
I'll go back to the phone lines, and we have to get into the Mill's going to get into some of these news reports. We're going to talk about these pay-per-view numbers, the Mayweather McGregor pay-per-view numbers, and the Lomachenko versus Rigo numbers as well. But let me shout out my man who's on that DBN tank in the super chat section, my man Edwin Velez.
Yeah,
shout out to Edwin Velez, man, for donating. I appreciate you, man. He said, "Hey Dante, what's your opinion out there on Chris Diaz's last fight?" He said, "Hey guys, once again appreciate all you do. Much respect, Dante and Big Milk." That's what it is, man. I appreciate it, Edwin. Yeah, we talked about that, right? We talked about Chris. He was on. Yeah, he knocked out. Money was giving him a lot of praise. He said that he looked real good. Money. Reiterate on that, Money. Your thoughts on Chris's knockout win on that undercard, Lomachenko.
Yeah, you know something? Yeah, when you can hit someone and you make them literally bend at about a 30-degree angle, and you make them do a little funny dance right before they face plant into the canvas, you know you have something special.
Oh, yeah.
Very sharp punches. He knows his range and his timing. I'll tell you what, people are talking all left and right about Lomachenko fighting other guys. But I'd say fight this guy. Try him out, see what happens. Because this guy is not afraid. He will come at Lomo, and I guarantee you're going to see a good fight. Even if he loses, he's going out on his sword all the way for Puerto Rico. Yeah. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, he's been praised right now, and is like the next Cotto. And not only was he aggressive, but or our next big Puerto Rican fighter, next Trinidad, all of that. But not only is he aggressive, but he has skill. Because he was coming forward, but he was out boxing the dude while he was coming forward. Yeah. And he was in there with a good opponent. Every time he caught him, he heard him and everything. So what you want to get into next, Milt?
The next thing, man, is Antoine Douglas. Last night, he suffered a hellacious knockout against Spike O'Sullivan. I remembered I watched Spike a few months back. Oh my God, man! Who did he beat? Y'all pull it up in the comment section for me. But I watched him a few months back, and I just remembered how hard that guy hits, man. But you know what? Last night I was at a Christmas party and watching I hijacked the TV. Shout out to ladies Grace and Elizabeth. I appreciate y'all letting me indulging me last night. But I was watching the TV, but I couldn't hear the commentary. And what Roy was saying, I didn't know what Roy was saying. I didn't know what any of them were saying, but I was saying the same exact things in my mind to myself as I was watching this fight. I didn't like Douglas's body language as he entered the ring. I didn't like his body language from the very beginning.
From the very beginning.
You guys remember what I text you guys, right?
Yeah.
Right at the beginning. What I text you.
I couldn't hear it, but I was watching the fight, and then on top of that, I was like, man, did he go to the James Kirkland School of Defense?
Oh, man.
Where you just, you try to get off your shots and then you let the guy beat your face? That's your defense? Because I'm like, man, Roy, and I did not know Roy was talking about those right hand shots. I'm like, how in the hell do you not move out of the way?
He said Chris Eubank stopped Spike.
Yeah, Chris Eubank stopped Spike, but Spike knocked somebody out a couple months back. And Quigg, was it Quigley? Quigg?
I have to look it up.
Yeah, I watched that fight.
If you guys know who Spike knocked out, let us know in the comment section.
Yeah,
I don't have to look it up.
And I'm like, how in the world is he not moving out of the way of that right hand? The right hand coming right down the pipe.
Something, Milt, I'm telling you right now, my wife was watching that fight last night, and she couldn't even understand why he couldn't get away. And she's not anyone to really watch boxing, but her eyes were glued to that set. She said, why can't that guy move? Why can't he not get hit? Why is it that he's getting hit so much? I said, I have no explanation.
Milt,
it was like he was blocking punches with his face.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you actually reference James Kirkland, because just like James Kirkland was never the same, Antoine Douglas was never the same. That's the text I sent you guys. The first 20 seconds.
Yep.
I said he doesn't look the same anymore.
Nope, he doesn't.
And guys, I want to get y'all thoughts on what I had said. I thought about Keith Thurman, him saying in a recent interview, he was talking about the adverse effects of taking an L. He was talking about, and he volunteered this information. Yeah. The reporter didn't even ask him about how you feel about taking a loss. He just started talking about it, coincidentally, around the time that Errol Spencer's aggressively calling him out. And my point is, that's what I thought about when I was watching Antoine Douglas. This is why a lot of cats don't want to take an L. Because look at how Antoine looks. He doesn't look anywhere near
one of the things
the undefeated Antoine Douglas anymore. And he took a year off too, so that really
mental
affected
psyche.
him.
Yeah. Especially if you don't get right back on that horse. And the thing is, man, it was like because people have elevated you to a certain status, and you feel like you're invincible. And then somebody pulls back that cloak of your invincibility. And then it's like, oh my God, man, will this happen again?
Yeah.
If I get back in here,
it's always in the back.
If I get back in here, is this gonna happen? Is this what's going? This my fate? You know what I mean? But the thing is, I just think, and Roy was saying it, man. I believe that the kid needs a new camp. He has talent. He has power. He can punch. But he made that fight much tougher than it needed to be. That fight should have never been that tough. And if you watch the fight that happened right before that, Cletus Selden against Eves.
Oh my goodness.
Ulysses? Yeah.
Ulysses.
Oh my God, man.
Was that was undefeated fighter got undressed.
Bucket naked.
Yeah.
In the nude. Man, like Dollar Bill. Let me tell you, that kid, Ulysses, is gonna go far, I believe, man. And one thing that let me know this,
he has one loss though, right? He has one loss.
I believe he does. But one thing that makes me think that he's gonna go far, when his coach told him, hey, the crowd didn't like that, that last one. He showed, okay, I can be on my bike and I can fight off the back foot. Okay, but now I'm going to step right to you, and I'm going to stay right here in the pocket and wear your ass out too. He was like, man, he was showing so much versatility. Even though I think that Selden is kind of one-dimensional, and I mentioned it even in his win in his last fight last month. I said he has to load up on that right hand in order to get it off. He really loads up on that right hand. And he telegraphs it, and you know when it's coming. And Ulysses made him.
I was going to go ahead and take another call.
Okay.
We got my man Blue on the sport on phone too, right? Blue, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, fellas.
What's going on, Blue?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just listening to y'all chop it up, man.
That's what it is, man.
Hey.
Hang tight. I'm gonna go ahead and take another call real quick. We got 832. What's your name? Where you calling from, man?
Man, what's popping on what's dropping? This your boy Jimmy J Smooth, live in the ring.
What's going on, Jimmy? What's going on, man? Y'all,
what's going on, Jimmy?
Y'all here?
I'm gonna have to say this, man. I can't call Billy Joe Billy Ho no more because this boy goddamn David Lemieux look like Pepe Le Pew, man. Straight beat that boy ass, man. That boy looked like Sugar Ray Leonard whooping that boy ass so bad, man. He was
doing the Ali shuffle in there. Yeah. Go ahead.
Man, the best did the quick walk on that boy, man. Whooping that boy ass, man.
See walking on him. Oh my goodness, boy.
Oh,
See walking in front of the camera like, "Hi, mom." Yeah.
That man did the no Memphis shook on that boy ass, man. He whooped that boy ass, man. And I'm glad David Lemieux got up out of there, man. Let's go and get some more of these Golden Boy fighters up out of there, man. The only dude on that roster I like is my boy Gilboa and Canelo. All them other clowns, man. Let's go clean out their whole Golden Boy roster up in this bug, man. And then you can address them emails. When you see them, tell them about them goddamn emails. I'm sick of that shit, man. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah, he's talking about those emails that surfaced when Golden Boy, one of his employees, they was going back and forth calling black folks the N-word, called Al Heyman the Black Hitler. Wow. And that may have something to do with why that lawsuit got dropped, because when they were trying to sue, sue Al Heyman, and Al Heyman's lawyers, they depoted, Golden Boy, and they started, getting all, how they go through all that information.
Doing discovery.
You forget, forget that, they could find a whole lot of stuff. Right. And so that's pretty much what that is. But yeah, man, good observation, good stuff, Jimmy J Smooth. Y'all hang tight. Let's go ahead and get into the next one.
The next one was Jesse Vargas looking sharp on Friday night on a PBC
Congrats to
card.
Jesse.
Congrats to Jesse Vargas. He's out here, Las Vegas. One of our homeboys out here. But I will tell y'all. Jesse is now being trained by the body snatcher, Mike McCallum, and you can see a marked improvement on his punch selection, his punch ability, his punching power. He was fighting a good tough competition after a 13-month layoff.
That's news right there. That he's with a different. He's not with Dewey Cooper anymore, and now he's with the body snatcher, Mike McCallum.
Yeah,
big news right there.
Wow. And he looked really impressive, man, against Aaron Herrera. He's a head down, come forward type of fighter. But I've seen him in some wars, and Jesse boxed circles around him. I mean, Jesse looked, phenomenal in that fight, man. Really did.
Nice.
He really did.
He's one of the few fighters that actually called out Errol Spence. He wants
to fight. And he called out Errol Spence. He means it, right, Kirk? Yeah, he's serious about it.
I definitely believe him. I don't know about his chance.
I don't.
I definitely believe him.
And I think he beats I think he beats some of the top guys at 147, man. And somebody was talking about Thurman, possibly having him as a comeback fight. I'm like, that is not the type of. That could end up being that could be a Truax.
Yeah.
Vargas? Oh no.
He end up getting Truax.
Thurman said he wanted Devin Alexander though.
Yeah, he can get Truaxed on that too. He get Truaxed on Devin Alexander if he's slipping.
If he's slipping.
Yeah.
How did Devin look, real quick?
He looked good. He looked good.
I missed that one.
About 2 weeks ago. Yeah, he looked real good.
Yeah.
Actually, he looked real good.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, we were gonna talk about that too, Doc. Jeff Horn. Guess how much Jeff Horn wants. He didn't already put it in the comment section. Jeff Horn, he wants $5 million to fight Terrence Crawford. So I guess
he don't want to fight Terrence
Crawford. We can translate that. We know the translation.
We speak that.
We speak that language.
You don't need the Rosetta Stone.
To
figure out what they're trying to say. I don't want Terrence Crawford.
Make it happen in Nebraska. If you want them, you got to come to Nebraska.
Hey, but
what they should do, they should call his bluff though. Just to see if he respond. But this is funny though. Real quick, Milt. This is funny that Well, I mean, because it was sounding like Jeff Horn was willing to take the fight. You know, like right when he beat Manny Pacquiao, it was sounding like he was willing to take it.
Oh yeah.
But now reality done set in.
Oh yeah.
You know, now Terrence Crawford is the mandatory, and now all of a sudden you need $1 gazillion to fight him. You know, so yeah, man, we already know.
And Terrence Crawford is boring now.
And Terrence Crawford is boring. Is that what they saying now? Because I already
he said he's boring and he can't sell tickets. He don't.
You talking about his his manager. His manager said no. He said he's not a good communicator, is what he said. He said he don't know how to do interviews. He's not a good communicator, and he's so boring when it comes to him being interviewed and all that. But I'm like, you got Roman Gonzalez. You know, he doesn't have no animated personality.
Right.
Pacquiao don't be tap dancing and doing a nay when he interviewing.
Like
you know what I'm saying?
Like he want to fight Martin Luther King or something.
But the worst part about it is, look how many fighters don't even speak English.
Right. Exactly. That's my point.
Right.
That's my point. But he just fought. What was his name? I'm forgetting his
Corcoran.
You just fought Corcoran. What kind of person? He was great at interviews.
Yeah,
you know,
he had to lighten it up.
Yeah, and he handpicked that opponent, right? You know, so that's what I'm saying. People, they just they step right on the damn banana peel, seeing the damn banana peel right there. You know, so all the time, man, all the time.
Hey,
but that's
Jeff Horn's considering Anthony Mundine.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. That he's
Mundane be lighting it up though.
But he said
Mundane he really talked that.
They said he would get the rumors is he would get $3 million for Mundane. So why is he asking for $5 million to fight Terrence Crawford?
Right. And this
he's like, I'm gonna need some extra stuff paid if I'm getting in there with Terrence. Y'all gonna have to pay for that extra house I want. You know, my great grandkids got to go to college if I'm getting in there with Terrence Crawford, and I want to make sure they go to the best college. So y'all put that in the contract. You know
this is the last big payday.
They started off by saying that
it's the last big
Terrence
payday.
Crawford is the hardest fight in the world for them. So
they kind of
they let us know right off the bat what they was thinking about.
His promoter said that. His promoter said something like that. Blue. Yeah, you're right. He said it'd be a very hard fight. He at least he was cool enough to admit that.
That's the Eddie Hearn.
And then he stumbled over his words. He said that is probably gonna be the hardest fight. But we could beat him though.
Yeah. Let me make sure I get back on script now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
it. That's the same thing Kell Brook did when he got the strap. You know what I mean? He went for the JoJo Dans and who else was it? It was somebody else, man, that was real light work. But then he was talking about how important it was for him to fight his mandatories, and he wanted to make sure he got his mandatory. And then they say, "Hey, Errol Spence is your mandatory." Well, it's not always, man. You don't always have to fight your mandatory. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and it's the same thing right here with Corcoran. It's like, hey, man, he just fought Corcoran and Jeff Horn. He just fought Corcoran, and now he looked like he's going to probably fight Mundane or try to squeeze out of it some kind of way. So, I mean, I just don't understand where they be coming from. Go ahead and fight, man. Because initially Jeff Horn was calling out Errol Spence. Talking about he would fight Errol Spence. He said that. Yeah, you say that.
But I think if he had the option, he still would, no, Thurman. I was, because I'm looking at something right now. This is funny because I don't know if you guys remember, but back in 2015 when Floyd Mayweather said he wants Thurman to fight Errol Spence, Thurman came out and said he wants $10 million to fight Errol Spence.
$10 million.
He said he want. I have the video. I still have the video up on my channel.
Insurance policy.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly. Absolutely. That's the best way. That's a hell of an insurance policy,
You're gonna retire me good.
Yeah. I'm gonna live real good with this.
Ridiculous, man.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. If you're gonna retire me, I'm gonna live good after it.
You have it.
Go ahead, Milt.
Hey.
Well, besides, but also, Dante, what like you said, Keith even said about the mindset after a loss. Because some people can't handle it. I don't know how Keith Thurman will deal with the loss.
And it would be a war. And it would be a war just like the Kurzice Douglas fight was.
Yeah.
So you're right. Absolutely.
And you know what, Dante, man, when we was talking to Keith Thurman over in Brooklyn, man, his whole demeanor, everything has changed about him, man. He's like his mind is already off of boxing, man, so to speak.
Pressure.
He's in a married life. He's his whole outlook. It seems like it's different. It's not that aggressive.
No.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
He's been talking about.
I can't wait to see him in the ring, man.
You're right, Blue. You're right, Blue. It'll be really interesting. You guys are listening to Blue Blood Sports. My man, online with us right now.
I keep thinking about. I think about Riddick Bowe. When I know it was over for Riddick.
He gonna cry in the car. J Dog just typed he gonna cry in the car.
Yeah.
Oh man.
When I knew it was over for Riddick Bowe? When they told me that man had a kitchen in his bedroom. They told me that man.
You remember that?
I remember that. He had a refrigerator. He had the kitchen. It's over.
It's over.
When you
and his second fight with Evander Holyfield, that was November of '93.
Yes.
When Larry Merchant had made that statement, I said, "What?" I said, "Oh, that."
I remember that. Wow.
It's the beginning of the end.
That's it.
I just remember Eddie
That was
Futch.
November of '93.
I was in Korea.
Yeah, I remember Eddie Futch, him calling it, before it all came down. He was saying, he's lazy, he's not training. This was right after the first Holyfield win, actually.
Yeah.
Eddie Futch was saying it.
Yeah.
He was putting all that business out there.
Yeah.
And then we start seeing pictures of Riddick Bowe with McDonald Big Macs in his hand and all that kind of stuff. And it was.
He'd been checking out George. He'd been hanging around watching too many George Foreman commercials.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah, he was trying to look like George Foreman for sure. Because he looked like George Foreman in the rematch.
And so to bring it back to Thurman, it's like, hey man, once whoever made that statement that, hey man, it's hard to roll off of silk sheets and go outside and run 8 miles and go get punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
You laying up on some satin sheets, man, and you be like, man,
sliding off the bed.
Yeah. You be like, man, do I really want to get up and go do this?
Yeah.
And it's like it gets tougher, man, and sometimes you get comfortable. You're away from the sport for a while.
Absolutely.
Hey,
you making that kind of money? I mean, look at what happened to Buster Douglas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen to Keith Thurman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen to Keith because even Blue Blood brought that up. And I honestly, Blue Blood he nailed it because in looking at Keith Thurman when he was in that interview and you had Errol Spence looking at him like, man, you're going to lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You already know that. I know that. The people on the TV land know that. You're going to lose.
Yeah, because
so I'm just waiting.
Errol was looking right through him.
Yeah.
Right.
He was looking. He was staring right through him.
It's like a person
everywhere else.
Yeah.
Everywhere else. It's like a person that's in a parachute and they're landing in a lake down in the Ozarks. And the alligators are just waiting for you to land.
Mm-hmm. And you looking at the alligators like, oh, this is over. Let me, go ahead and make a prayer, before I land in this water, But
so, and it may be, and so that may be the thing with Keith, man. He may be trying to hold it out until he get his mind right. Until he get his mind wrapped back around
Until he get his money right.
Yeah.
Until he get his money right.
Right. But what I'm saying is, man, now, he may just not be feeling it right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's been away from a minute. Yeah. It's gone.
That's right.
So,
that's kind of scary because
BB King said
we're used to looking at Keith very positive, very confident. I'm the man, whether you like him or not. This is what I'm used to seeing in this guy, and all of a sudden he's on national television, and he sounds like okay, I'm into nature life now. I'm like, oh no, man, you can't sound like this right now. You need to get out of that now.
Yeah, man.
It's like no,
that's exactly it.
Oh well, time will tell.
Yeah, that will most likely.
Like he's satisfied with his achievements.
Well, yeah. I mean,
exactly what he was
Keith
saying.
is a very. Keith,
once a lion, he turned into a rabbit. He was once that hungry fighter, and he accomplished his goal. He accomplished what he set out to do.
Right,
and
exactly.
With that change in mindset and that change in status, having achieved what his goal was, he's now what was the predator is now prey. And with that mindset, you know, it's only a matter of time. When Errol Spence gets his hands on him, if that ever happens, because he's looking at him like lunch meat.
Hey, what they say, heavy?
Pretty much, we're going to see the fat at the table eating food. I mean, it's over. I mean, my opinion.
Much like with Adrian Broner. I agree. Much like an Adrian Broner in his most recent fight in his loss against Mikey Garcia. Well, hey, you know, I won the world championship 4 times. And he felt good about that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, okay, you're in a place where you feel comfortable.
Right.
You're probably not going to go any further than that.
Right.
And that also kind of sheds light on.
Good point, Money. Good point.
Off subject, but it sheds light on Floyd Mayweather's greatness because he's accomplished so much at a very young age and continuously had all these expectations on him and had to, you know, fight off all these detractors while, you know, getting this money, you know, earning these large paydays. And as someone mentioned, it's kind of hard to run 8 miles, you know, in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning when you're, you know, sleeping on bed sheets.
Yeah,
right.
For him to do that for so long and to face all that pressure and scrutiny and still manage to win every single time says a lot about that, about his mental strength.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you know I wonder, you know, about Andre Ward. You know what I mean? I know he had at least 2 or 3 definite, you know, great performances in him. I think he would have beaten Stevenson. I mean, he could have cleaned out the division, I believe. And you thinking about it, I think he could have. I don't know who could have gotten Andre Ward at 175. I don't know.
Yeah, it would. I mean, it would have been tough to beat him. I mean, it is.
As far as I'm talking about, you know what I mean. Who else out there had a belt besides
Adonis?
Adonis, and that was it.
That was it. I think Adonis would have been a tough fight, but I would have leaned towards Andre Ward.
I would have leaned toward Andre, and I think he could have at least gotten that one. You know, unified all of them. And I think that, you know, he started feeling the pains in his knees.
Did he ever talk about his knees?
No, you remember what's his name was here, and he was at the camp with him, and he was talking about how he was pushing through with knee pain.
Oh, okay.
Who was that? The kid that was here, man.
Joey Spencer.
Who was that?
Was it Joey Spencer?
Yeah, Joey Spencer.
Oh, Joey Spencer. Shout out to Joey. We got to get him back on the show as well, man. Shout out to Joey Spencer, man.
Yeah, and he was
one of the best prospects right now.
Yeah, definitely. And he was talking about, you know
what, when it comes to Ward, and I mean to interrupt, when it comes to Ward, when he had that, you know, the bit of time when he was a little inactive, when I would see him talk on the, you know, as a commentator, I said, this guy has found his niche.
Right.
Now, how long he comes back, when he does come back, I don't know. But he's found his niche. He's already networking because he's made for television. He's made for that screen. Look at him now. You would have never thought that he just got finished fighting. You would have thought, oh, this guy's probably retired early on, this, that, and the other, and more television than boxing. That's just my personal opinion from what I'm seeing.
Absolutely.
It's almost like it's the same thing with Keith Thurman. It's like he might have already checked out.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially being on the high, beating Kovalev like that. You know, the way he beat Kovalev in the second fight, you know, it's almost like, where do you go from here?
Right.
Yeah,
Even if he beat Stevenson, it's not as the accolade is not as high as when he beat Kovalev.
No.
And you're
because
right,
this guy was built to knock him off. You know, and when it didn't happen the first time, okay, now it's the second time. Oh, we got him. And all of a sudden, he gets knocked out. And everything goes wrong. I mean, completely wrong. And then all of a sudden, you have this guy who's naturally left-handed fighting in a right-handed stance that has this dynamite-like right hand that you normally really don't see just come clean, crisp, right across the chin of this guy who's looked upon as like rock-solid cement,
invincible,
crumbled right before our very eyes. It was symbolic when he landed that right hand, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
That was almost Joe Louis, Max Schmeling.
Absolutely.
You know.
Let's go ahead and get into some other news.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Sorry.
Let me jump in this real quick, and then I'll let you jump in that. Let's go into these numbers. Lomachenko, I really want to talk about this. So Lomachenko versus Rigo. The numbers were good. I have the graphic up right now. It did 1.5 million views. Those are really good numbers. So congratulations to Top Rank and Vasil and Rigo for bringing in numbers. You know, it's funny, man. I wanted to talk about this because the contradictions are just off the radar, you know, and the hypocrisy, you know, because this is the thing. Numbers and the truth always contradict the ignorant logic that we hear when it comes to, you know, certain people trying to say that nobody, how boring Rigo was, for example.
Right.
Nonito Donaire did his best numbers against Rigo.
Right.
Lomachenko did his best numbers against Rigo. So once again, you know, when the truth comes to light, you know, it always exposes, you know, all this ignorant stuff that we hear fans say, which they already knew. This is what I mean when I say they say things is just therapeutic.
Right.
They say things that they know is not true. Like I said, if your son is an amateur boxer and he loses every single round and he says we got robbed at the end of the fight, you know, and everybody, all the friends around him like, yeah, y'all got robbed. Yeah, y'all got robbed. This is basically what they do with these numbers. You know what I mean? They try to sit over here and say, oh, yeah, he's boring. He's this. The numbers always, you know, come out and expose what the truth is. You know, same thing with Floyd Mayweather. It can't all be a coincidence that the most boring fighter is the one that everybody is watching. Something else about these numbers is everyone is also saying, I'm seeing some articles where all the headlines is great numbers, you know, Lomachenko, Rigo generates great numbers, et cetera, et cetera. Now, do you guys remember, and I told you this before the show started, Milt, when Al Heyman, PBC, when they were doing 3, 4, 5 million, the same reporters that's writing these articles now, they had these long-ass dissertations where they was basically talking about, so now this is why these numbers are not good. Because if you look at the math, ESPN, they actually have a zillion subscribers.
Right.
So 3 million, why is only 3 million people watching when there's like 100 million subscribers? That's how they tried to rationalize discrediting, you know, Al Heyman. But see, this is what new media is all about. We give credit to everyone because as long as it's something positive for boxing, that's all I care about. I want to see good numbers. If it's from Top Rank, if it's from Al Heyman, I want to see good numbers.
Because that means boxing is doing well.
Yeah, that means boxing is doing well.
Right.
You know, I love, you know, hearing casual fans tell me about a fight that they just randomly turned the channel and watch when they was at the bar or at a restaurant or whatever and say, oh man, you know, I was watching a good fight at the restaurant the other day. That's what we want. So that's what you owe, you know, media cats. Y'all should be doing that too. Remember that when y'all was trying to, you know, discount and discredit Al Heyman every time, you know, it was 1 million views, 2, 3, even 6 million views. You know, so yeah, man, let's just, you know, treat everybody the same, man. That's just all it is. Go ahead.
And speaking of pay-per-view numbers, the actual final numbers for Maymac for Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, they generated 4.3 million domestic pay-per-view buys and generated over 600 million in revenue. And the gate drew an additional $55.4 million. All of these are only second to Maypac.
Only second to. And who has the top 5? Who has the top 5 biggest pay-per-views?
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
5
the guy that they said was boring and they couldn't stand, they didn't want to watch. Yeah.
And the top 5 and you know, I'm reading Mr. Raphael, and he's talking about how, you know, he was almost like saying nah to Leonard Ellaby, who said that the fight was going to generate between 60 and 80 million at the gate. Well, it didn't do 60, it did 55.4 million. And he was almost acting like they were going to the poorhouse. You know what I mean? It was like, and it's the second largest, you know, in history. So how is it, man? You know, he was almost like he was making fun of the dude. But I know he was trying to put his thumb in his eye because, you know, Leonard Ellaby was, you know, they had a little Twitter spat right before.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because, and I meant to show that to you, man. It was right before the fight. Well, when they was hyping up, leading up to the fight, Dan Raphael was trashing it. And Leonard Ellaby came on Twitter and said, so we can expect not to see you you apply for press credentials, I assume. And you know,
Dan, sure did.
Yeah, you remember that? You remember that, Blue? And so he came back at Leonard and was like, yeah, you don't have to worry about me getting credential. But this is all he talk about. Now that's all he talk about. And then turn around and let Oscar fight him, or turn around and let
because they want to fight him
or let Pacquiao fight him. You know what I mean? And, that'll be all that Dan Raphael talks about.
And he didn't say nothing bad about Oscar and Pacquiao wanting to fight McGregor. Go ahead.
Right. Bro. Dana White was like, y'all can get that notion about boxing out of your mind. McGregor is not boxing no more. And he told Pacquiao, he was threatening him like, hey, because Pacquiao was like, hey, we've been in touch with Conor McGregor. Dana White was like, if you've been in touch with him, you can expect a lawsuit because you don't negotiate with Conor McGregor. He's an employee of UFC. So he's on the contract with UFC. So, everybody trying to get in on it now after Mayweather has done it.
Yeah, of course.
And nobody wants to talk about that double standard. They loving it now. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well, once again, Milt, they knew what the truth. They knew what the truth was from the beginning. Go ahead, Kurt.
I wonder what Fat Dan would say if Golovkin fought McGregor.
Man, of course. He was stripped butt naked, man, and rubbed one out right there in the ringside.
Listen,
he would rub one out ringside, bro.
Like
that cat with cream all over himself.
Oh man, they know deep down what the truth is.
Bring that up.
They knew deep down what the truth was, though. That's what it come down to at the end of the day. They knew deep down what the truth was. They knew that was going to be successful, just like they knew Floyd was going to beat Canelo or Pacquiao, but it upset them, so they had to come up with some type of, make-believe narrative to make them feel better, to deal with the pain. And that's what it is. That's what it always comes down to. And now we finding out the truth because now we find out Oscar, who said it was a horrible idea and, we should protest, we should ban this fight, boycott it, whatever. He was saying all this stuff. Now, all of a sudden, he's training to fight McGregor.
Right.
Because he knows how great of an idea it was. I mean, it's all, political warfare at the end of the day.
It was something last night on Twitter that kind of struck my eye too, man, with Dan and something that Erislan de Lara has said, because Dan was just praising Billy Joe Saunders on the way he was boxing. He was boxing beautifully, and Lara pointed out, hey man, either this dude is a racist or just a hater, because how is it that when this dude is boxing beautifully, which he is, it's good, but when Lara, Rigo, Floyd, all these other fighters that box beautifully, they run it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Afraid to get hit.
Yeah, it's not a tough man competition. It is the sweet science. It's boxing. It's boxing. You don't stand there toe to toe and slugging it out. And if that's all you got, then hey, you're gonna lose a lot of fights against top level competition. But it was so funny how Laura was pointing that out last night. How he just praising Billy Joe Saunders for his slick and smooth and his, just giving him all kind of love on how well he was boxing. But whenever it's somebody else, that doesn't have the complexion for the protection.
I just called Dan out on it.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
I go to his Twitter page.
I'm glad you
call him out on the thing. Okay, you're saying this about Billy Joe, but against these guys.
He gets it all the time. He blocks him right away. That's what I'm told. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he blocked Guillermo Rigondeaux out. So if he'll block Rigo, you can imagine who else he's blocking. Yeah. Talk about a conflict of interest right there. The fight is on ESPN, and the biggest writer on ESPN is blocking a fighter, and then we supposed to listen to him when he tells us that Lomachenko, the guy coincidentally he didn't block, all of a sudden, this guy, he's better than Floyd, or all this comparing him. I mean, once again, man, Dan Raphael, that old media, these grand wizards of the decaf, this is how they look at things. They started off just stealing a little bit of change, off your table. They come over your house, they steal a little bit of change. They notice. They realize you don't even notice it's gone. So then every time they come over, they take a little bit more. Yeah. And then they like, man, if I take that, that suitcase over there, or that $1 under the mattress over there, and so this is what Dan and a lot of the grand wizards of the decaf have done. you know, they spew out a little bit of this hate, you know, these double standards towards you know, fighters of, you know, on the coincidental list. And once they notice they're not getting backlash for it, then they start giving you a little bit more. Then they get bolder and bolder. And this is what's happening over the years with Jim Lampley, with Larry Merchant. Now he's not doing it anymore, and Dan Raphael. If no one is gonna come out and expose it, you know, that emboldens them. And that's what's happened. That's definitely what's happened. So
exactly.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of which, Nonito Donaire came out and said that he think that Lomachenko would beat Floyd at 130 himself.
Yeah.
Because Nonito Donaire.
Wait.
I disagree.
Wait, you said
he had the nerve to say that Loma has a better ring IQ.
Wow. Wow.
So you know, he talked about that. Here we go. Blue. I'm telling you right now, man. When that I'm going on Nonito's page, and I'm going to ask him. I want you to tell me who has Lomo fought that's the exact same equivalent to any of the guys that Floyd has fought. Give me someone that's like Manny Pacquiao. Give me someone that's like Canelo, whoever. You know, just give me an equivalent right now, and I guarantee he won't be able to do it. He can't do it. They can't produce these people.
Yeah.
Miguel Cotto.
Yeah, and once again, man.
Miguel Cotto, that's right.
Diego Corrales.
Yeah.
Corrales, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone that was like really picked to beat Mayweather, I want you to show me the same equivalents that are on Lomo's dossier. Please show me this. If you can, hey, school me. But more than likely, it'll be a 10,000% fail in their attempt to do so.
And J-Dog,
I know one thing. He doesn't have any opponents that moved up 2 weight classes of fighters. I know that.
Sure don't.
And
there you have it.
And let me go ahead and read what J-Dog he just said. Speaking of Lomachenko having a better IQ than Mayweather, he said, ask Salido about that IQ. So, I mean, if we use good point, J-Dog, one of my moderators, shout out CSM in the comment section. I mean, if we using that logic, how does that all add up? So does that mean that Salido, his IQ is on the same level or, you know, or beyond, you know, when it comes to Lomachenko? I mean, you know, it's a lot of variables, you know, you can look at when it comes to making those type of comparisons. But once again, we know that Floyd Mayweather, we know what he accomplished. We know he moved up 5 weight classes. We still have to see how, we haven't even seen Lomachenko deal with that type of adversity yet. Like we was talking about money, how the Montgomery brothers, they said they'll move up, you know, 1 or 2 weight classes to fight someone. We need to see.
They will.
Yeah. We need to see how Lomachenko, how does he deal with that type of adversity where all of the advantages are against him, you know, and he just has to outwit someone who's stronger, bigger, taller, with everything against him. How does he deal with that? That's what we have to see with Lomachenko if you're comparing him to Floyd. If you're just happy with what he's doing right now, then that's fine. We're not forcing him. He doesn't have to do those things. But if you're going to compare him to Floyd Mayweather, expect to hear those type of questions.
And Breon Thomas, I agree with you, man. I believe Pernell Whitaker beats Lomachenko.
That's a good comparison.
You know, like Donaire and all these fighters and different analysts and stuff. I would like to ask them. So if you think Lomo could beat Floyd Mayweather, then you saying that Floyd Mayweather can't beat Orlando Salido?
There you go.
You said,
how crazy does that sound?
You said Salido is the greatest. He's the greatest in the
Blue
last
Blood is
25
making
years.
too much sense. Blue Blood is making too much sense. Cut his mic. Cut his mic. He's making too much sense. Cut his mic.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, man. We're gonna have to ban him, man. We're gonna have to ban him, man. But anyway, yeah, man. Hey, but that's pretty much I think what it is, though. Milt. I think we 2 hours and a half in right now, man.
No, you know, I just pop off these couple things real quick. I'm gonna let everybody know. Mikey Garcia is scheduled to, you know, fight Limpinets.
Limpinets
at 140. It's already, I guess, signed, sealed, delivered. I thought that he probably would have tried to, to get another unification fight at 135, but I guess he's going to try and capture another title in another weight class. Salido coming back. He says he's changing his mind. He's not going to retire.
That 10-minute retirement, we always hear about that.
Right. Adonis Stevenson will not fight Alvarez again. Seemed like if you want to make some money in boxing, just become, Stevenson's mandatory. And all you got to do is just keep breaking in step aside money.
You'll be set for the rest of your life.
You'll be set for the rest of your life. You don't even have to fight.
Yeah.
You don't even have
Get
to
that
fight.
step aside check.
But in that, it seemed as though he will be fighting Badu Jack. So
that's a great fight.
That should be a good matchup.
Great matchup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Saw this good prospect, man, Jamal Django James. I want to give him a shout out on a great win. Jeff Horn did exactly what we thought he was going to do. Povetkin wins by knockout and is now Anthony Joshua's mandatory WBA opponent. How that worked? Yeah, Povetkin is back in the mix. Yeah, I mean,
boy, oh boy,
stick needles in your ass.
You know what that means?
Yeah. And all of a sudden become number one.
Yeah, so
mandatory.
2 people that have previously been busted for using performance-enhancing drugs, used performance-enhancing drugs again, and are now the mandatories for the WBC and WBA titles. Somebody please explain that to me.
Yeah.
Fights coming up within the next month. We got December 30th, the most significant fight that's coming up because nobody's going to do any action next weekend. Christmas coming up. But on the 30th, the Monster Inoue is going to fight against Johan Bayao, I'm assuming, for the WBO Junior Bantamweight title or Superfly title. And then it seems as though I think he's going to turn right around and fight again in February on the Superfly. He's trying to get on that Superfly card. Errol Spence Jr. On January 20th. Oh, almost forgot. Clarissa Shields. Shout out to Clarissa Shields.
We're going to get Clarissa. We're going to get her on the show as well.
We would love to have her on the show, man. We're going to try to get her on the show, but she's fighting on January 12th. She's defending her women's IBF and WBC super middleweight titles. So shout out to her. Much love. Errol Spence Jr. for Lamont Peterson. That fight is right around the corner. It'll be here before we know it. I want to say this first, man. I think Errol wins this fight, but Lamont Peterson is no slouch. He is going to come in there and he's going to give Errol everything that he got. I think he going to unload. I want to talk that fight up before we get ready to go because I want to know how everybody's feeling about that. What do you think about it, Kurt?
Oh, Errol Spence and Lamont Peterson?
Yeah.
I got Errol Spence winning. I mean, it's going to be a tough fight as far as both guys are going to come in there with that workers mentality and they're going to work extremely hard and give it their best effort. And I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but I mean, I think everyone can agree we're going to see that from both fighters, that effort. Exactly. And both guys will be in shape. And I just see Errol Spence. I think he's bigger, stronger. He's more polished from a technical standpoint. And I don't think Lamont Peterson has enough punching power to
keep him off.
Give Errol Spence any kind of worry or caution.
Especially at 147.
Right. Yeah. What do you see? How you see it, Blue?
I think that Errol Spence is going to turn Lamont Peterson into the new gatekeeper, man.
Oh man!
I think Lamont Peterson is going to be the new Zab Judah and DeMarcus Corley type of fighter after this fight, man. Because I think he's going to walk him down. He gonna beat on him, man. This fight is gonna take a lot out of Lamont Peterson, man.
Oh, wow.
That's what Errol.
Speaking of Chop,
I think Errol's just gone.
Ulysses reminded me of Chop.
Errol's too focused. He's too hungry, man, right now.
I don't know about Chop. Well, I think Errol Spence is going to take a lot out of everyone he faces. I mean, I think he took a lot out of Kell Brook. I mean, just that style of walking you down, especially, when you try your best to resist, that right there, you're taking more punishment.
Prison style. You try to resist like prison style, but it's futile. It's futile. You got Fleece Johnson. You got Fleece Booty Warrior Johnson on top of you, man. You can't. You can try to resist all you want to. We can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. Hey,
and that's with Kel. Because he tried his best to fight his heart out. He took a lot more punishment, and I think that's what's going to happen in this fight with Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson, shout out to him for being one of the only fighters to step up and take that challenge. But he didn't look that strong in his last fight, moving up a higher weight. And now, the walls are just going to continue to close in. Them Errol Spence walls. Go ahead, man.
And just 3 more notes. It's a full roster all the way up until next month. But the 3 fights I want to throw back out there, man. Alexander Usyk and Briedis for the WBO, WBC Cruiserweight Unification. It's a unification bout, and they're also in the World Boxing Super Series semifinals. That's going to be on January 27th. The next one I want to talk about is George Groves versus Chris Eubank Jr. It's set for February 17th. That's going to be also it's a part of the World Boxing Super Series.
Yeah.
And Srisaket Sorung Visai versus Juan Francisco Estrada is going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's going to be a really good one.
That is a good one.
That's all I have, or all I want to speak of on the on the schedule, and that's all I got, Dante.
All right, man. Good stuff, man. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Go ahead,
Let me
Blue.
say one more thing, Dante. I just wanted to let y'all know that Robert Garcia did an interview yesterday with ES News, and he said that he said this is he was putting Lomachenko on notice, saying, listen, don't think we're going up to 140 to get that belt. We coming back to 135, and we want to defend it against you. He told Loma, he putting them on notice. Don't think they're going up in weight.
Wow. So they officially called him out then, is what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
There it goes right there.
Yeah.
So Lomachenko.
They're not afraid.
No,
I missed that one.
No doubt about it.
They're not afraid. They're going to come at Lomo in 3D. They're going to come at him in 4D. I'm telling you.
I like that.
Okay.
And there's no other fight better than Lomachenko versus Mikey Garcia right now. I mean, that's the fight that everyone wants. And once again, we're going to get to see how is he going to deal with a guy taller than him, a guy naturally bigger. Now, still, Loma's not moving up 2 weight classes at a time, but still, he does have to deal with the height, the natural size, because Mikey is big enough to fight at welterweight. So that means Lomachenko is going to be in there with a guy who's most likely going to rehydrate much higher, than him.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Loma, demands a rehydration clause, in that situation. But that's a good one right there. Good stuff, Blue. Good stuff, man.
What'd you say, Kurt?
Yeah. You got it.
And that fight pleases both sides of the Lomachenko contingent, whether you're for him or you're against him and don't like him. Either or, if he fights Mikey Garcia and beats him, I mean, the people that support him are like, see, he beat another top per pound guy. The detractors can be like, well, shit, he moved up in weight to fight a top guy, so you can't knock him for that.
You can't, exactly.
Yeah.
It's win-win for him. It's win-win.
Win-win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If he wins.
That's a big win-win for Lomo if he,
even if he loses,
Mikey. But then, to me, I think the next person that they'll probably have in line will be Robert Easter Jr. That is a mountain.
Oh, that's
task.
Yeah, that's
because
a real
you have
tough.
a guy that can use his height and his reach well. He's not going to let you in there like that.
Yeah.
And being a southpaw, that doesn't matter. When you're that tall with that rangy with those arms like that, that southpaw stuff, that means absolutely nothing.
It means
anything.
nothing.
And this is a guy that can short left hook.
Yeah.
It actually opens him up for the right hand.
Yeah.
All day long.
Like I said, once again, we're going to really, really see how Loma deals with adversity with these different type of opponents. So we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens.
And Mayweather, you're right. And Mayweather, when he was going up against Diego Corrales, I like both guys. And I was like, man, how is Mayweather going to deal with this guy?
Yeah.
You know, he ate him up like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
Like
he ate him
Pac-Man.
up like Pac-Man.
Like Pac-Man. That's what it is, man. So, all right, y'all. Hey, well, that's pretty much it. Unless, Kirk, you got anything else to take us out with?
No, that's it.
Okay. That's everything then. So let's go ahead and wrap it up, man.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As always, we had a fire show tonight. That's pretty much all it is, y'all. We see you guys next week, same time, Sunday, Pacific Standard Time, 6:05 Pacific Time, 9:05 Eastern. That's what it is. It's the nation, baby. Yep.
All right, guys.
See you later, money.
Hey, show love now. Look, you all have a good one.
Take care, you
Okay.
guys.
Bye.
All right, you guys.